Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another fabulous show. I'm Suzette Speaks, your hostess with the mostest. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. If you're a team replay, welcome. This is the Suzette Speaks show. We're coming to you live tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. That's usually when I'm live, but I appreciate each and every one of you who are hanging out already in the chat. Go ahead and hit the like button as you come in. I'm talking about men today, and I hope I'm not giving myself. Hold on one second. Let me pause a little bit. I'm listening to myself in the background. It happens. Technical difficulties over here on YouTube, but don't mind that. Welcome, one and all. This is the Suzette Speaks Show. I am TV host and attorney out of Miami, Florida, Suzette Speaks. I love bringing interesting topics to the YouTube space. I love talking social justice, a little bit of legal issues, oftentimes current events. And tonight, I finally have Sir Hale Speaks. This is a long time coming, he says. Let's go. He's been up as a guest before. Of course, you may have seen him on channels like Black Man Unfiltered, and of course, his own morning show. He'd be up early, y'all, doing work, bringing news, information, and interesting perspectives to the people. And I know he will do just that tonight. We are going to be talking about a quote that was tweeted. You know, Twitter get a lot of us in trouble. Some of us, anyway. I'm not big on Twitter, but I watch. I don't tweet myself. But when this tweet made its way onto Twitter last Wednesday, it caused some debate. It was a tweet made by Tyshina Arnold. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? She played Pam on Martin. She is now one of the co-stars of the sitcom The Neighborhood. She's been doing some work, y'all. She's been around Hollywood for some time. And to give you some context, in watching everything that happened, about the Oscars, we're not going to go back through that and rehash that. But there was a lot being said because of the action and reaction to Will Smith's behavior, let's just say at the Oscars, that many started to comment and have been very reflective about Black male masculinity. And in her comments on Twitter, Tyshina Arnold commented, and I will get to it momentarily, about how Black women can help stop the emasculation of Black men. In posing that question, again, she created a spirited debate around Black masculinity and what role, if any, Black women need to play in helping to preserve and protect it. You had some folks sounding off, it's Twitter. We need protection ourselves as women. This is some commentators. Others said, well, I'm not, affected by certain things like women going for their careers or, taking up space at the proverbial table. So I'm good. My masculinity good. There are some men that even went as far as to say, hey, feminism, stop following it, stop preaching it. That would help my masculinity a lot. Listen, it was so many different opinions, of course, as there are, not only on Twitter, but all around social media, and of course here on YouTube. So in seeing that quote, Sir Hale Speaks and I thought, you know what, this would be some good food for thought. There's a lot riding on, I think, Black women understanding Black men and vice versa. We don't get to have a lot of those type of conversations here on YouTube. Sometimes we're talking past each other. But tonight we're going to try to do some work of understanding one another's perspectives. We may not agree. I don't know what Sir Hale Speaks going to say, but Suzette Speaks is running the show. Let's go. So I don't know. I don't know where the conversation is going to go, and I love that. We did not talk about this beforehand. But I know from seeing his work, and I'm judging him by his work, he's very transparent, he's honest, he's open, and he likes to bring an authentic expression of what men oftentimes feel but don't say. Oh, y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Sometimes, ladies, I don't know if we can take some of that because we're used to being given, the PC version of things. But tonight we are going to be transparent and open. We're not going to try to be PC all the way. Okay. I know I'm sometimes that way. I can't help it. I'm just going to try to not hurt everyone's feelings, including my own. But sometimes the real work happens Like Dr. Thunder said last night on our show, Dr. Thunder, oh, you guys go back and watch. Thank you, first of all, Developing Dad, who came on yesterday and did a fantastic job. Shout out to Developing Dad on his show. How do you know he's really ready? When we were talking about men and courtship and whether or not there are signs, actual key signs as to whether a man wants to marry you, wants to be in a committed relationship. I learned a lot. I hope y'all did. And we had a spirited debate in the chat, and I see the chat is already blowing up. So let's go. Welcome. Hit the like button. Again, the topic for this evening is how can we stop the emasculation of Black men? Again, Tashina Arnold tweeted something that really struck a nerve, especially among those of us in the Black community. We just wanted to open up the conversation a bit more, hear what you have to say. Of course, we're going to drop the link a little bit later, but first and foremost, hit the like button. Let me start by going to the chat and seeing who is here. Again, I don't purport to know everything about relationships. Again, I think that is the weakest link for me. I know Sir Hale speaks for himself and will bring a fresh male point of view. But again, he knows every man is different. We are not a monolith as Black people. We do not all think the same and want the same things, right? But I do think we want to protect the Black man in general. Now, when it comes to Black masculinity and how it is expressed, there are so many ranges of opinions about what it is, what is healthy. And I think, again, from the behavior that we saw just a couple weeks ago, there has been a lot of questions about why would a man who seems to have so much, behave the way he did? And was he feeling emasculated in his life in, all the behaviors? And we've had a couple shows on it. Go watch Black Man Unfiltered show with me, Free Willy, right? I'm actually going to change that title. I think I'm going to say Free Jezebel. Y'all was mad at that conversation. Y'all love that conversation. I think we have over 1,000 views on that conversation. But tonight, like I say, Sir Hale Speaks is coming for the very first time as my featured guest. Y'all hit the like button for support. Y'all know you can hit the super chat. What's up? Here goes the Cash App. I also have a Patreon group. Love y'all, all the members of my Patreon. Thank you so much for supporting my content. We YouTubers who are trying to do this for real, need your support. And we are grateful, y'all. Anybody who comes through, watches, likes, shares, that's what's up. That's all the support we really, need. But thank you for those who go above and beyond and support our content. So are y'all ready for a good conversation? I know I am. So Hale Speaks is waiting with bated breath. So I saw who was first. Andrea La Loca. I'm ready for this chat. I stayed on my own. And maybe that was part of the problem. My son is not the man in his house. Ooh. He was always emasculated. And he does not wear the pants. Oh, gosh, I have a couple stories about this. Wow. Thank you for being so open and honest. Thank you for being so open and honest, Andrea. Talk, Hale, ladies, let's chat. I like it. Is this a supporter? Hello? Do you know this person? Sir Hale Speaks. I love it. This show is about to be fire. I think I saw RM in the chat early. Thank you, Harrison. Family Values in the building. Nice to see you. Welcome. Jeremy, good to see you. Always appreciate you watching. Thanks for being here tonight. Welcome. Like I said, she's always here. Welcome, RM. Thank you so much. You are an amazing moderator, and I appreciate all that you do for me and my channel, Harmony Pill. What up, girl? Good to see you. I'm grateful that you're here. Yeah, I was hearing an echo at first, so I was kind of like freaked out. I hope that didn't throw you guys off. Uh-oh. Andrew? Should I? He said he ready for the smoke. We promised his smoke already. Good evening. Good evening, she says. Good evening, Sunbreeze. How are you? Good to see you. Shout out to Doug. Nice to see you. Yes, Suzette reporting for duty. We choose tough topics, y'all, and I'm excited. Woo! Yes, y'all remember y'all talking about Pam? Yes, Pam. Y'all, this is the subject matter of today. Stop the emasculation, she says. How can Black women, was the question that she posed. How can Black women stop the emasculation of Black men? And again, it was so much food for thought. People was really up in arms about it. So again, I'm gonna let him introduce himself, But y'all see him, Sir Hale Speaks. What's up? You see? Let me give him the close. I love it. The close-up in the building. Y'all see him. Sir Hale Speaks is my special guest helping me do the heavy lifting today. I'm so grateful that he's here. Y'all check out his network, Sir Hale Speaks Network. My mods are dropping it, I'm sure, in the chat. Again, to have him here is a very special occasion, and I don't take it lightly. Thank you, Sir Hale Speaks, for being here. Brown Gal Peace Lounge. Hey, darling. Nice to see you. Glad you're here. Andre Scott offers, Black men have emasculated themselves. Now see. Okay. Thank you for your opinion. I got to digest it and kind of see what other sides of that argument could be. Thank you. My attorney hat is now on. Thank you very much. And hey, nice to see you. Welcome. Glad you're watching. Listen. Yes, Jeremy says, I'll be glad when all this infighting between our Black men and Black women comes to an end. Me too. P. Diddy says, take that date. Listen, you're so funny, Life of Cash. Glad you're here to bring some levity to what we're doing here. Talk Hale, ladies. I guess you'll tell us who this is, Sir Hale. I love it. Yes, Developing Dad did a wonderful job. I'm so grateful he was here. And hopefully he says he's going to develop a show with me on his channel too. So hopefully I can repay the favor. Let me see. Andrea adds, I don't focus as a mother. I'm sure that I didn't maybe focus as a mother. I'm sure I have an impact on my son. My son is married, but she runs everything and makes him feel less. This is real. Listen, I think Black men are so, the word might not be afraid, but fearful of this type of arrangement. They are not, willing to live like this. Like, I think this happened in prior generations. This wouldn't be the first, but I think the awareness of this and what not to do, and giving the what is the word I'm looking for? The word is not autonomy, but the agency to say no, this is not the type of lifestyle I want to live in my house. But a lot of men may experience what you're talking about. So I'm glad that you're sharing. Big up. Let me see what Guan. Yes, let's hit that Cash App and Super Chat. Thank you, Life of Cash. Let me see who else is in the chat. Doug says, I personally would not tolerate it. I would be out ASAP. Ooh. Peace to the chat, says Bernard S. Nice to see you. Facts and the Uncomfortable Truth with Mr. Bernard S. He's also a member of my Patreon. Good to see you. Hope you had a wonderful Easter and all that. Men, Miss Globe Girl. Hey, girl. We was up late on DL Saints channel last night. Says, men, don't start no problem. Won't be no problems. Don't start no stuff. Won't be no stuff. We going there already. Listen, we both want respect, yeah? But we got to give to get. And we got to recognize certain social orders. Some may argue, right? Some of us not recognizing social order. Some are saying it's unhealthy, kill the patriarchy, all that. But there are extremes to this argument, and I'm trying to find the middle ground tonight. But let's see what Sir Hale Speaks has to say. Welcome. Greetings, Vaughn. Nice to see you. Peace, joy, and prosperity to you too, igualmente. Thank you so much. Listen, why you got to be this way, Life of Cash, talking about the weaves and the sandals have been... Why you got to be like that? Put some respect. Black men... Oh, you didn't like that. Black men emasculated themselves. Yeah, that was a serious comment. We got to dive a little deeper on that. We just can't let those things fly. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the like button. Let me know you're watching. Mika in the building. Nice to see you, darling. Tampa Bay. What's up? Let me see. Respect from both ends. I don't see your name here, Facebook user, but thank you to all those watching on Facebook. If you're watching on the Let's Talk Justice show, I'm running it on that platform too, as well as the Suzette Speaks Facebook page. We're simulcasting tonight. So without further ado, like I said, we got some work to do. I wanted to take a deep dive. If you guys don't know her, she's an actress, a singer. She's been in sitcoms since the, I guess say 90s. Martin ran from like 92. Say to like 97. Again, she's been in several hit sitcoms since then. Hit the like button, will you please? But this beautiful woman, this actress that we all know as a part of, I would say, in America, Black popular culture as Pam from Martin, had a question that she posed on Twitter. Tashina Arnold sparks a debate. You can see it right here, taken from blavitynews.com, right? On Twitter, posing a question about the emasculation of Black men. Okay, so if you guys don't know this question, we're going to bring it up right after I bring on Sir Hale Speaks. Hey, Sunbreeze in the building. All right, so without further ado, I'm grateful again that he's here. We have a lot to talk about. We have a fantastic panelist, special guest. I'll have him introduce himself. Are you ready, sir? I'm ready for you. Without further ado, please help me welcome for the first time as my special guest on the Suzette Speak Show, none other than Sir Hale Speaks. Yay. What's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? It's the one and the only Sir Hale Speaks today with Suzette Speaks. I'm glad to be here. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, I love it. We match. Okay, first and foremost with the red. We did not plan it. And of course our names match, which I always admired from afar. But I've been watching you, brother. You've been putting in work every morning early. I'd be like, I want to catch it, but I be in the gym. Most days, not every time. But first of all, welcome. Thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thanks for the invitation.
I'm so excited. Thank you. So first, tell the people who you are and what you do on YouTube.
Yes, so I am now calling myself, I am a content creator on the Sir Hale Speaks network, where one of my major focuses is on relationships and on the development of male masculinity, femininity, and having a good time talking about things like business and things that pertain to life. So that's what I do. That's what I'm about. I've been doing this for seriously for about 4 months. And we've been seeing growth. So we're making an impact. I'm Sir Hale Speaks. Again, glad to be here. A shout out to Suzette Speaks for the invite.
Well, I'm just going to have to call you Sir Hale so we don't get confused. But you are doing amazing work. When does your show usually come on? Early morning, right?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of them. So I have a morning show. When I do it, it's 6:45 in the morning. I've got Super Sundays on Sundays at 8:30 p.m. I've got a Saturday collab at 2 p.m. Central Time. And then I've got Live Talks on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we got a lot going on the network.
Ooh. So when you approach relationships, and I'm going to let you kind of roll, y'all see his Instagram there. Please go over to his page. Thank you, RM. Make sure you follow him. He has a Facebook page. I saw that this afternoon as well. But follow him on all platforms. I'll add them to the description afterwards. Of course, we want to support one another as content creators in general, but I like to say as Black content creators in specific, because we are trying to, I think, be a unique and new and refreshing voice that is not necessarily already offered. And I know you like to talk about relationships, but sometimes I think that kind of understates what you do when it comes to some of the reality check-in you be doing. And I really am. Hey, TJ, I love you. It's good to see you, sis. Nice to see you. TJ Randolph in the building. I always say I love you because I love my foes. But people are like, y'all just say that. I just say that normally. But yeah, good to see you, sis. Thanks for coming through. Much respect to the chat. Thank you, everybody. Just make sure you drop a comment. Thank you so much. Michael says 2 of my favorite content. You're so sweet. Content creators.
Shout out,
yes.
Michael.
So he has officially called himself a content creator now. But yeah, so give me an idea of what you talk about when you say relationships. I feel like, is it a call-in show, or what are people doing most times when they are coming as either guests or listening in?
We have some deep conversations. Like, part of my thing is not to give people the comfortable stuff, because I think honestly, a lot of us have been lied to. We lie to ourselves, and we go to people who lie to us so that we're comforted in our foolishness. And my goal is to see healthy marriages and relationships. And part of the way that we help assist with that is we tackle some really deep things. I mean, we go deep, we talk about everything, but the purpose is not to exploit people and make them feel bad. Is to bring out the issues so that we can bring correction, so that people can be truly happy and successful in what they do. So that's what we do. And we have a good time doing it.
I love it. Shout out to Mosaic with TJ Randolph. Here I say random. Randolph on the super chat. Thank you for showing love, sis. She has a fantastic channel. Lots of conversations and cocktails. I've been a guest over there. And she also does the same thing, but from the woman's side. Deep conversations where people do not like to go there, do not like to talk about reality. Again, I've talked about on this YouTube space how I felt so misled, even as far as relationships and how they work, and just the stages of life, and how and what you should be doing, and what you should be approaching in different stages, and one of them being seeking out a husband. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have folks like you, folks like TJ Randolph, speaking the truth, saying what needs to be said. Sometimes it's painless, other times we wish it was pain free. But no matter what, I respect all of you guys who are here, sharing truths, uncomfortable truths with our communities. Thank you, TJ. And I see you, DL, in the business, business in the building. A little tongue tied tonight. Thank you, DL Saint, on the super chat. What's good, Suzette? Thanks for all the support. I'm telling you, we were over. Go watch. That was an interesting show, DL. DL Saint, I really want to know podcast. Go over, watch his channel. He's been a guest up here. He's also done, Is Marriage Dead? That was a fantastic show. I'll link it in this stream. But yeah, DL interviews all kinds of people from different walks of life. He had a person from Hollywood talking about like the difference between old Hollywood and new Hollywood, and some kind of, some of his experiences. It was very deep. We were up there till about midnight after my stream yesterday. So shout out to you, and several of you went over from my channel, and we hung out over there supporting him, helping those watch hours, and just supporting the content. So shout out to all the creators who are watching and in this space. We want to encourage you again to have the uncomfortable conversations. And tonight, I hope it ain't too uncomfortable, but it might be. But I know I'm in good hands. And like I said, actually, he suggested this. Thank you, Sir Hale, for putting this out there. It's something I had read about. Let's get it pimping. One of the things DL was asking, are we pimping or being pimped? He was like yes or no questions, like a speed round. It was a very good segment. Thank you again, DL. But on to our business for tonight. So here's our our subject. I don't know. Again, I don't feel like our subject matter expert here, so I'm glad you're here, Sir Hale. But like I said, Tyshina Arnold sparked some debate. So let's get to the quote that she actually tweeted, right? So here it is. Tyshina Arnold asks an interesting question on Twitter on Wednesday that sparked debate. Honest question. What can we as Black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men in America? Okay, I'm taking that directly off of the Blavity article. So you can read that article as well. Blavity.com. Shout out to you. So this is what she said on Twitter. And again, it ruffled a lot of feathers. People were in their feelings. Again, trigger warning. Some people may feel some type of way. But no matter what, everyone's entitled to their opinion. We're going to keep it respectful here, even if we have differences of opinion on this. But this is what she asked, y'all. What can Black women in America do to stop aiding? Ooh, are we aiding in it? That presumes that we are. To stop aiding, maybe we don't even know we are, in the emasculation of Black men in America. Interesting. And again, she's a 52-year-old actress, singer, pop icon in Black culture, but in American culture, right? So this is how it got started. So Hale, I'm going to toss it to you and just ask you for your general reaction at first. Let's start there. When you read it, what did you think?
Her initial post, I'm like, great, this is great. This is a really good question. This is a fantastic question. We've been talking about we need our women to be more interested and involved. This was great. We've got somebody who's famous, somebody who's notable. If you were a young guy, grew up watching Martin, this is somebody you respect and admire. She sent us, I'm like, we're on the right track. Until we saw the comments. And I'm like, wait a second. Hold on. How did a question like this pose a response like that? And it just let me know that we still have so much work to do. You have so much work to do as a culture.
So I thought to myself, quite frankly, the same. I thought she meant it in a good way. She was trying to be supportive. She was trying to be an ally, if you will. I think, again, no one can be inside her mind. This is all of us speculating. So, guys, I realize that we don't know what she was thinking. She only knows what she was thinking. But I think it's good to use, something like this based on the language she used. Again, that's what I do as an attorney. We look at language and we interpret. So I think it's okay to do so. Again, we're adding our own personal experiences, right? our own interpretation. That's what we do when we read law and other things, and when we read case law. We know what's on the paper, but again, it kind of leaves clues. So looking at it, when she says she wants to be, I think, or at least in my opinion, an ally, as I said, with Black women coming alongside, you know, Black men to stop. So, Sir Hale, when she says aiding in the emasculation, it seems like it's ongoing. That's what the inference. Okay, let's go. It's not stated, but it's inferential, right?
Mhm.
That aiding in the, as if it's occurring. So let me ask you that first, Sir Hale. Do you think Black men are emasculated in American society?
Absolutely. With a capital A. Absolutely. And if you want, I want to tell you how this is. So a lot of people think that it starts when a man is grown, like when he gets older, he gets into a relationship, somebody he's with a girl and she disrespects him. That is not where emasculation starts. The emasculation starts when they are way young, and a lot of husbands are treated like boyfriends, and daughters are raised like sisters. And the young boy, particularly in single parent households or in households where the male presence is not the leader in the home, they're taught subconsciously to behave themselves like women. And so from an early age they are deferential, right? So instead of them taking the lead and them being cultivated to be leaders, that because they got a strong mama, they got a strong sister, and they see dominant women, they learn to defer, and they never learn to be leaders. And so when they get older and start to date, they have this dependency on the woman that they're with. They don't have a sense of direction for themselves. They don't know what their purpose is. They're always waiting to see what she wants, because the leader in him hasn't been cultivated, because he's been raised to be mama's boyfriend, and he has not been raised to be a man either, because the man there is not necessary. He hasn't gone through the steps to be the type of masculine man that builds other men, or simply because he wasn't around. So this gets real deep, but this is how this happened. It starts very early, not when a man is a man, but when he's a small boy.
Wow. So you've added a lot already, and the comments is coming in hot. I just can't even keep up. My face sometimes I take it off the screen because I'm reading the comments like reacting. I can't help it. Y'all come on in, hit the like button. We see the crowd is growing. So thank you for sharing and liking. Again, how can we stop the emasculation of Black men? Sir Hale, you just said so much there. We're going to definitely drop the link and ask our brothers to come up and kind of also add their experience and interpretation of what's happening in American society as far as Black men being emasculated. But you said so much right there. And let me get in these comments when it comes to how young Black men are being raised. And again, we cannot change every, household as far as who's in the household, who's the active leadership, if parents are together, if parents are divorced. There is no, for me, um, intent of blame here. That we're to me, we exist the way we have with both married couples and single parent homes. That's just the way we have in the last, especially 30 years, evolved, and people can tell you why in the American landscape. But a lot of our families don't look like mom and dad. A lot of our families look like led by mom. And shout out to those who are struggling to try to do the best they can in that circumstance. But what Sir Hale speaks has pointed out is that due to that circumstance, there may be some consequences for particularly, I think, both young men and young women. We are not perfect as parents. Sometimes as two parent households, we also leave different imprints on our children. But oftentimes, how a young man is reared in a single mother home may have an impact, as Sir Hale has described, in how he thinks and how he's being treated. Y'all with me? All right, let me read it. Let me read the comments. Let me read the comments. So that without even sometimes intentionally wanting to, I'm going to use the word emasculate because that's what we're using in the discussion, but intentionally creating a sense of perhaps inferiority. Um, it's not difference. It's not a healthy difference. It's like almost like, ugh, it's not cultivating male leadership the way we would traditionally consider male leadership. So we may be seeing the residual effects of some of our unintended consequences. I'm not stepping on toes at my sorry. I'm trying to open up the door without judgment of where we have been raised, and sometimes how we're raising other human beings. We wouldn't have chosen it, some of us, right? But the circumstances are what they are. So we have to acknowledge what can be a residual effect of that type of a family structure, right? Again, without criticism of how we got there, but more so, this is how children exist in a family. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I hope y'all ready. Let me read some of the comments, Sir Hill. So ongoing, and he says from early, he's saying that this is not a grown man being disrespected the way many have over the last several weeks characterized Will Smith as being disrespected over the course of his marriage. Yo, I was just talking about with a homegirl. I don't know how y'all feel about this DJ Envy and his wife having open again dialogue about their intimate lives and what the man can't do, and y'all hit the like but what the man do. And I'm just like, again, volunteering information I don't know that I needed about your life first and foremost, but is it emasculating is really the question. To come on somebody's show and say that your husband not um satisfying you, that makes me nervous. That makes me very, very nervous. So let me read some chat here. Yenlei Jasmine, YouTube is actually a business. Absolutely. We went off. Yes, we were up real late supporting DL Saint. Let me get through this chat real quick. I hear you. YouTube exposed me to many different trains of thought. Absolutely. That's what we're trying to do. Let me skip down a little bit. Hi, Shimon. Suzette, thank you. I thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm just going through the chat. I'm not really pre-reading, so thank you so much. Vaughn, if you're not familiar with Sir Hale Speaks Network, he's an awesome content creator. Thank you for the validation. Let's see. Andrea adds, I want a man to be a man and a woman to let. Uh-oh. Okay, sis. Want a woman to let men be men. It's a deep comment. That's a deep comment. Let a man be a man. Okay, we're coming back to that, Andrea. I like that comment. Want to dig a little deeper. Black Twitter. Thank you, Jeremy, on the super duper chat. Thank you so much. Says Black Twitter probably crucified her. Yeah, she got some pushback, and I got a couple of the tweets that were response to that tweet. I pulled a couple actually for the show tonight to see what you guys and what Sir Hale Speaks has to say, whether he agreed or not with the temperament and tone, both from the men and the women. It was very interesting to see how people reacted to what she said. And again, we're not a monolith. All Black people do not think alike. All of us don't feel the same way about the same set of circumstances. There are certain things that we all line up, but this is not one of them. And I thought this was very interesting to see the reactions. And again, we're going to talk about some of those. Hey, big up my brother, just mentioned you, Black Man Unfiltered Network. Yes, this is the first time I'm hearing Sir Hale speak. Well, yay, I'm happy to introduce you. Yes, Miss Gold Girl, this is the thing. How are we aiding? Should I dim my own light and life for the ego of a Black man? Now, many women felt akin to what you're saying here. Am I being my best self, my full self, my fully expressed self, a threat to Black masculinity? I'm going to ask Sir Hale Speaks that. Women, specifically professional women nowadays, being fully expressed, got the bag themselves, got the house themselves, by virtue of us existing, is that, quote, aiding in the emasculation of men? I want to hear what you have to say, Sir Hale Speak. I'm coming back to you. Let me see what the chat has to say. Let me go real fast. Let me see. Let me jump ahead. Sometimes I get a little, yes, Sir Hale preaching already. They got him. Self-examination is a must. Absolutely, TJ. Thank you. Y'all hit the like button as you come in. Food for thought for sure. Preach, Sir Hale, they saying already. Yes. Doug says, Miss Globe Girl, I don't know what it's like to be emasculated. I've never been put in that position, nor would I allow it. So are we letting, or are there men allowing I don't know. Interesting argument, Doug. I believe only a man that allows that type of set themselves up for it. Treatment sets themselves up for it. Okay, interesting. Again, now Sir Hill Speaks brought up when kids are young. I don't think they allow. That's the only difference. There is conditioning happening actually in those early stages. Sir Hill, I've been reading the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about some of these comments. Go ahead, sir.
You're so sorry if you hear my dogs and I pause. I'm going to get my dogs. So sorry about this.
No
Um,
worries. Real
but
life. It's okay.
but there's a couple of things.
Hmm.
One is I when I came into this sphere, I thought it was just men. It was the fact that they were raised wrong. Suzette, here's what I believe. When a man is not raised, it's also important to consider that the daughter isn't raised as well. And let me tell you why. Because that daughter who didn't see that masculinity is going to grow up and have children. And she's going to be forced to stitch together an idea of what a man is without ever having seen one. And she's going to reproduce the same type of toxic concept of what a man is and produce that in her son. And we're going to keep that cycle going on. So while I say it's important that it starts young for boys, the perspective about what a man should be also starts very early when it comes to our girls as well.
Give me an example. That's a very deep statement. So you're saying if a man misses his opportunity to develop in his masculinity, not only, and again, y'all hit the like button as you come in, not only is he impacted as he reaches adulthood, has his own children, and perhaps has daughters, they don't have oftentimes a clear, healthy version of masculinity if he lacks that. So then, as you say, they go out and they're looking for what he's presenting, which may not be a healthy or full picture. And therefore, they're searching for masculinity because I think we want it. We're wired for it as women. We're desirous of it, right? That's what Dia would say. The bad boys always win. Good guys finish last. But I don't know if I always agree. But the point being, there's a desire for it, but what it looks like may not be the healthiest presentation. Give me an example that you perhaps have seen or heard, even in your own circles.
Yes. So one of the things is, so let's say we're in a home. I was son and a daughter. She sees mother and father.
Hmm.
Well, typically girls have a woman to pattern herself after. This is why. Now, listen, fellas, it's important to hear what I'm about to say. Before you take on a lady, look at her mother. This is not to say that a daughter is the exact reflection of her mother, but that's the image that she's learned to follow. And so a boy who has a father, he has a template for what he's to become. He has something to follow. The issue that we see is that a lot of times both son and daughter get to see what a woman is, but a lot of the boys never get the example of what they are going to become. So the son doesn't see who he is, and daughter doesn't see what a man should be. And again, a lot of mothers, this is not, listen, this is not an indictment on mothers. This is just the truth. A lot of times you'll start hearing mothers raise their sons to be the man they wish they had. And what this does is it presupposes that the concept of the man she wants is a real man with emotions, with feelings, with his tendencies, with his ego. A lot of times mothers raise their sons to be the kind of man that they wish they had, and oftentimes she didn't have a good example of what a father is as well. So the point in this is that when there is no man there, it's almost like we're taking bits and pieces of the men we admire and we like, and we want to merge those things together. And we don't realize that that's not the way that manhood works. You don't get a chance to piece together, to take parts of what you like and then stitch them together to formulate what you want, because that's not how men are made. If you want to know what a man is, he is the sum total of his experiences and what he's gone through. And when a man is not in the home, a lot of times daughters don't get a chance to see that, and a lot of sons don't get an opportunity to emulate that. So
Mm,
this is why it impacts both sons and daughters.
very interesting point. Thank you. TJ says a lot of times it's covert, not overt. When it comes to emasculation, Life of Cash says we need to break the tweet down so it's forever always broke. Thank you. We're gonna go macro and then micro. We'll talk about it on a family based level, and then we're gonna talk about society. I see Andrew has one about society at large. Thank you. Many men, black men, have been emasculated. I feel like white men feel like this too, though. That's very interesting. We're talking about it in the African American or Black diaspora context tonight, but I do feel that there's a whole pushback against what has been seen as the rise of emasculation, right? Some would say in correlation with the rise of quote women, rise of, okay. Men, black men, let me read a comment, has been emasculated from the American society. Leadership has to be taught. I agree. We spend a lot of investment right now teaching girls leadership, but a lot of programs are not focused. I have a friend who was just trying to find. I was like, what about a Boy Scout troop? What about, whatever? She's in a city just north of here. And she couldn't find her son is good. He's in high school now, but she couldn't find one program that was not like almost,
Yep.
and I hate the word juvenile delinquency recidivism program, right? If you're in trouble, they got a program for you. But if you're just a good, young, strong young man who needs to find good, strong role model, she couldn't find one.
That's
It
a
was so
fact.
sad to me. I was like, put him on the football team at least. Try to get him in shape so he can make a team because he was a little scrawny little thing. But he's made the team, and I was like, at least he gets to be around men because it was so difficult to find something positive, just boys only. It was so it like we've almost, some would argue, overswung the pendulum. We've worked on girls, but we have not created parity in the work put towards the men that they hope to marry one day. Let's go, somebody. I had the opportunity to go to an all boys military school, and learned how to follow. That helps, I'm sure, a lot. I'm sure that gives you a strong sense of manhood, and masculinity. Thank you for sharing that. Let me see. Let me scroll down. You know, I'm always a little late. The DJ Envy thing, I might bring it up. Envy was raised in a two-parent home, so was his wife. But yeah, they going a little deep into their business. But um, the architect, nice to see you, says some men, we had this comment already, emasculate themselves. Okay, let's see. Life of Cash adds 80% of Black children are born out of wedlock to single moms. What do these mothers teach their boys and their girls? They raise strong women and weak men. Your opinion. Thank you, Life of Cash. Interesting. Yeah, I feel this way. Who was this?
That is Miss Hale. That's my
That's
missus.
your wife?
That's it.
Listen, I agree that it's not our business, but they keep talking about it in every interview. The interview they had today, I was just like, wow, that's a lot of info about you faking with your husband. That's too much. I didn't need to know this. Was it emasculating? Did you see this? Sir Hill
I,
Speaks?
I read about it. I didn't actually see it though.
I was wondering if you, I was like, this dovetails with us today perfectly. I mean, he's sitting up there cool, as I see in the comments. You know, he say he's healed from it. He also admitted to infidelity within their relationship. Not to be too gossipy, but the point is it emasculating to sit on a couch and sit next to your
Absolutely.
husband? And of course, you might be healed from it and past it, but talking about you spent 10 years unsatisfied um, in the intimacy department. What is that? What are your thoughts? I know you didn't see it, so maybe it's not right to ask you to react to it.
I got thoughts. I
Yeah,
got thoughts.
tell me your thoughts on that. I know it. And welcome, Miss Sir Hell Speaks.
Listen, I don't. If you got a man, don't you open up your mouth and talk about what you're not feeling, because there is a sister
That's
who would
gonna
be
clean
quite
it up.
satisfied with what you ain't getting pleased with. Make no mistakes. There was going to be some sister, and when you open up the door and you say you're not satisfied,
They had that
that's an
old time song
entrance
to
for
clean
somebody to
up,
get up in
woman.
that. Yep. So you keep some stuff private. There's
Amen.
some things you don't say, because
I
when you
might be
do
old
now,
school, but
now he go tap something else and she talking about he the best in the world, girl. He did everything that I like. Now you're gonna have an attitude. So if you don't want these problems, don't open up that door by sharing that kind of business. Because there is some sister who like everything he got.
listen, I found it. Plus that money long, and they'll be sure to be happy and do what they need to
Absolutely.
do. I thought to myself, this is weird. That's a lot of information. Again, we're not in there uh, intimate lives, but they're sharing it. I feel like, again, it's like a little bit overshare, in my opinion. I might be old school, but I'm just like, why would you talk about your man in public and what his performance is? I know y'all trying to sell books and whatnot, but it's a lot. It is a lot.
Absolutely.
So reset real quick. Welcome. I know we have a lot more people have joined. Again, topic tonight, we're talking about the Tashina Arnold quote from Twitter that she posted that asked in the wake of the Will Smith saga with Jada and the slap heard around the world, whether or not Black women can do anything to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men in America. That was her question. And again, we got a lot of responses. I'm going to put up some momentarily, but before I do, y'all hit the like button, please show some love. Thank you very much. Share if you can. Thank you to all those who have come over from the Sir Hale Speaks Network to come check us out tonight. I appreciate all of y'all. So we are going to talk a little bit more in depth with what happens at home. And let's take out I understand the point you've made as far as being in a single parent household. Do you think those same issues can occur even when there's two parents? And you're saying possibly so because there may not be a strong masculine man in the home anyway?
Absolutely. To be quite honest, I think it's worse when it happens. And the reason why is because so a lot of sons have to heal from their mothers, right? And
A lot of
then
daughters too. Sorry for interrupting. I
oh
feel
yeah,
that.
oh yeah, I'm about to get to that
Oh,
next.
sorry. Let me
And
let
a lot of daughters have to heal because they didn't have a father,
you.
right? And when you have a male man in the home and he doesn't know who he is, part of what makes men is their ability to create foundation in their kids. And a man who does not have foundation. Now, this is not the prototypical, he's got to be loud and aggressive. No, a man who is sure of himself. If he doesn't have that foundation, men can't provide a foundation that they don't have. And so when he's not there, he doesn't provide this, then the kids are forced to create a sort of foundation for themselves. And often this comes out in a very bad way. They start being sexual way too early because that's their way of becoming an adult. They're aggressive. It's their way of showing power. They're undisciplined and unruly is their way of showing independence because they don't have foundation. And so a lot of times sons end up having to heal from their mothers because, metaphorically speaking, they're on their mama's breast for too long, after everything she says and does. And he doesn't have an example of when he needs to separate to develop himself as a leader. And the same is true of our daughters. When our women raise daughters, oftentimes they raise our daughters to be strong and they raise the sons to be spoiled, right? And so we got a generation of daughters who are active, they are educated, they
Yeah,
are in
no.
business, they're entrepreneurs, they're strong, they're independent. And you've got sons who are going along for the ride, right? It's because we raise our sons to be spoiled and we raise our daughters to be strong.
But we have to address that because, and shout out to Osmosis React, showing some love. Shout out to Sir
Osmosis.
Hale, wise man needed in these spaces. Thank you for your support and showing some love with the super chat. Yeah, we're not beating up, but it's a. I know some people are triggered, but there are case studies, let's say individuals, where we can point out. And again, ladies, we just have to say stuff out loud. Sometimes that needs to be said because you are raising a future husband. A future husband. I'm telling you one thing, my brother's mother-in-law, she always thanks my mom. She say thank you. Thank you for, instilling leadership and instilling all kinds of stuff. And again, you don't know what your child gonna be like. Let's just put it like that. We're not gonna blame everything on parents because sometimes you have people that rebel. Your children can rebel against what everything you've taught them and everything you are. So there are parts, many parts to this spectrum. However, TJ Randolph made a comment saying we raise our daughters but love our sons.
Mm.
And I don't know if it's overcompensation. I've seen it within my own friend girls where because they have to work so hard, because they have to put so much effort out and miss a lot of the children's just lives, they overcompensate with extra fill in the blank, toys, money,
Yep.
don't go to bed on time and things and all kinds of stuff. And I don't judge them because I'm like, if you darn tired too, working a job and a half, two jobs, and doing it on your own, and your son is looking up in your face and like, but mommy, all I want is, and you feel, compelled to just give it, it's hard. And that's why I think we have to work on healing one another, men
That's right.
and women, so that we can be in spaces where I am weak, you are strong, where I can, and it always doesn't have to be mom, because sometimes my mom was a disciplinarian in my house. So whatever it is, vice versa, what the shoe fits, wear it, is what I'm saying. No matter who you are, I think we got to be very careful to not value having both energies, both, a balance.
Mhm.
Because sometimes it does create, let's just be real, imbalance. And I don't know if you've dated them. I've dated son husbands, as one person says. And I'm not, again, nobody chooses their mom, nobody chooses their dad. We're brought into this world, but it hurts because you trying to raise them in the relationship. Hold up, okay, I will get out my business. I'll get out my business. You ever try to raise up? Boy, all right, get out my business. All right, DL says this affects men of all races. I agree. We're talking black men here, but yes. Shouldn't men lead boys programs? I agree with that. I agree with that, Ace. Let's see. Young men need to take up boxing. I don't know. Physical strength is important. There's a guy that I watch on Instagram, Duvall. He's in a lot of Tyler Perry stuff. You know who I'm talking about? Duvall.
I'm not sure.
He's in a lot of Tyler Perry stuff on BET. He's a dad of 4 now. And I love seeing them because they are a young millennial black couple with 4 kids, happy and seemingly living a decent life. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Forget his last name. But there's so few depictions of that. And part of his leadership is Saturday exercise and boot camp with them boys, running up and down the streets, push-ups, let's go, again, physically wrestling and whatever. But again, if a man cannot cut the mustard with another man, it's going to be a problem for him his entire life. I'm not talking just personally, but I'm talking about not just relationship, in business, his whole life.
That's a fact.
Confidence is so key to men. And if we're not gaining it through just the single mom or single dad or single parent, we got to find ways to instill it. If it's your situation and you feel really weird about it, and Sue and Sir Hale speaks of stepping on toes, okay, but we can make change. That's the beauty of life. So if you see yourself in this, take what you need, but don't take it in the spirit of, oh my gosh, everybody didn't want, I wanted to be my, say, husband. A lot of people don't end up, some people end up abandoned for whatever reason, but we still got to figure out how to cultivate that man. That's all I'm going to say. Right. What were you going to add? Thank you, Humble Dad. Thank you very much. Humble Dad says, in my estimation, women who are not raised around masculinity can't identify men who have it. Ooh,
that's a fantastic point.
Yeah. Ladies and gents, I'm going to drop the link in just a moment, but it just hurts me to think about it. But even if we have 2 parents like myself, I think sometimes if we don't have a healthy masculinity one way or another, it throws you off because you're looking for it. My dad is very stoic. So I often look for stoic men, not emotive, right? I call them emotionally constipated. I'm like, but that to me was my first example of masculinity.
Foundation.
Yep. Go ahead, please.
Oh, no, I'm agreeing with you. That's foundation.
I was trying to find that. And then I'm like, but be emotional. But let me into your mind. But why don't you explain this and how you feel? Well, that's not what you're choosing, sis. You're choosing your dad.
Can I speak on this really quickly?
Absolutely.
There are a lot of men who are living in silent conflict because they have the behavior of women with the heart of a man. And trying to reconcile this, a lot of them don't know what to do with that because, again, they know this is why you hear men say, it's easy for me to be around women, but it's hard for me to be around men because they don't get me.
Hold on, Sir Hale. Wait. They have the behavior of women, but a heart of a man. Explain that. Break that down. Give me an example what you mean by behavior of women.
Yes. So a lot of men are very overly emotional, like things that a stable man wouldn't let get to him for too long. It's almost as if the nurturing part of them that women typically do to keep things together, to get to the bottom of it, need closure, they behave the same way, which is why it's very easy for them to be around women, not talk to women, but to be around women, because there's a level of camaraderie there. Now we could take this real deep, but
Sir Hale, I'm with you. My face scrunched up. I'm sorry because I'm thinking as you were speaking, I'm thinking about examples. Y'all ever been in a social setting where the man want to be around a woman gossiping and they're
yep,
not LGBTQ and they want to be up in the women business instead of over there with the man playing dominoes? What's up? You ever had
yep,
that type of interaction where I'm like, bruh, you women are here. You should clear it. We're having a female-led conversation here. The men is outside doing what they're gonna do, but you sitting over here talking about you got the baby on your lap, sitting with us. But why though? And I'm thinking about I gotta get out people business. I'm thinking about a couple people, but it's
yep.
hurt. It hurts me because I think, and then you trying to regulate us. This is a woman's conversation, bro. Why are you even over here? You should be out there with the men, but they're not confident. They're more comfortable moving, as you say, in the behavior of women. Oh my, oh my.
But this is because this is what he's learned, guys. Let me start here, guys. The masculine man people see me today. I was not always like this. My father passed away when I was 5 years old. I used to be real soft spoken. I used to be passive aggressive. This is also a sign of men who are not sure of themselves. Passive aggressive. Used to let people walk over, didn't speak up when things needed to be said. But this is because I hung around women. And so you can't you can't discount the human experience. You behave like what you are around. And if all you're around is women, you are learning to adapt to your environment. If this goes on for too many years, you'll find yourself being able to be around women, but you can't keep a woman, because there's a difference between being around women and a woman being attracted to you and you being able to sustain one. This is why you have a lot of guys who got a lot of women friends, but they can't keep a girlfriend. They can't keep a wife, because the energy it takes to be around them is not the same energy it takes to keep them. And
Wow.
so when it comes to things like this is why I say a lot of times men have to momentarily divorce the toxic relationship with their mother and with the women in their lives long enough to develop a solid perspective of themselves as a man. And once that is done, then they go back and they provide that masculine love. And they got to be okay that they're not going to get the validation. They might not get the attention. There's going to be some lonely days and nights, but it is required to become the type of man that when you look in the mirror, you are proud of. And when you have a woman, she looks to you with a degree of respect and gravity, because you become the type of man that commands the type of feminine respect from your woman.
Sir Hale, I'm gonna take a breath, bro. That's a lot you just said, and I think let me get in these comments. All right. Um. Mm. Okay. Black Man Unfiltered says my show is titled The Barber. Okay. Size. There's so much here. I need to go back down. Thank you. Yes. Hey. Real Nathan Daly, Officer Nathan Daly.
Shout
Was
out to
talking about,
Nathan.
yes, in the chat. Says she opened the door for drama, but he is a weak man. Speaking of, I think envy, I'm a little behind here. Sandy, nice to see you. Says envy is not leaving his wife and she ain't leaving him. I think that's true for what they got going on. Yeah, envy weaponized a 10-year issue in an argument. I see that. Yes, way too much. Okay, y'all with me. Let me skip on down, get a little further ahead. Salute to all of y'all in the chat. Please hit the like button. Sandy says, strong masculinity doesn't mean he is overpowering his mate or his children. I agree with that. I agree with that. I came here a little bit late. Those are okay, Ace. Has the stream the impact of black men participating in criminal? We have not discussed that just yet. They say you're speaking facts, sir. Yes. Yes, very bad in the Dominican culture, says the Harmony Pill. Awful how spoiled the men are. Oh my goodness. But Miss Creative says we are not strong. I hear you. I hear you. Thank you, Talk Hale ladies. Let's chat says I heard about it then. She will be pissed when other women come for him. Yeah, okay, talk about envy. Let me speed up a little bit. Real Nathan Daly says the fathers should be the ones to spoil the daughters.
That's a fact.
And raise the sons. Word right there. Much respect to Sir Hale speaks. He's speaking facts, says the architect. Thank you so much. Ace Butterfly says, is spoiling your boys a part of the patriarchal society? Being raised to be, who should have said boys are being raised? No, or being raised, I think they're being raised more as husbands, as far as in a single. They're being raised on parity with the almost trying to emulate a mate style instead of a son, which is discipline, understanding his role and development of leadership, and also serving as well as being served. I think they're not getting that part. I don't know about being raised. I'm not clear on the second part of what you're saying, but I'm just saying being raised as almost a companion instead of being raised to be a future husband, as is what we were talking about. Let me jump down. That son husband relationship is so unnatural, says Doug. Son husbands be emotional, says Osmosis. Nice to see Osmosis. Far too much coddling, says the Harmony Pill. They grow up to be overly emotional. I've met them, I've dated them. I've been like, geez, me, I have to be worried about how you feel more than you worry about how I feel. This is not how it's supposed to work. But I realize, as you say, and I do believe that we become my personal opinion, like 75 to 80% of what we grew up with. I do believe there are always people who break that mold, people who are outside of, the bell curve, if you will. Not everybody's the same.
Right.
Y'all can give me 10 examples of people who are not like their parents. But oftentimes, if you wake up every day seeing say your dad put hands on your mom, the strongest man who goes against that will oftentimes find himself in anger, responding in similar kind. Not
Okay.
all, there are exceptions, but many have to really work on it to not go down the same path. And when we take it from that extreme, just go into general, emotional well-being, peace in the household, good communication and health, we tend to fall back on what we learned, that nature versus nurture. So I do agree with you, Sir Hell Speaks, that a lot of times when we are dating, when we are, I think you would call it just bonding. I don't know if we call it committed relationship before marriage, whatever that is, when we live together, we're not married
Bonding.
yet.
Bonding. A
We
befitting
we're
word.
we're we're emulating what we know, and then the real truth comes out. And I see, and again, Andrea, I don't know if you're comfortable coming up to talk about it, but she had made a comment that her son does all the laundry, her son does all the cooking and cleaning and washing. And Andrea, I'm not putting your business, thank you for sharing it in the chat, but I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. If you feel comfortable to share, come on up. But there are men that are not exercising their masculinity. I don't know if they're afraid of divorce, they're afraid of not seeing their kids, so they're going on to get along. I don't know if DJ Envy is at all in that category. I'm just saying, do you think there is a lot of emasculation that happens in marriage?
Oh yes.
Like a
So,
Will and a Jada? Explain.
so let me introduce you to the three P's of emasculated a man. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do story time. The three P's. You mess with a man's presence. Suzette, how transparent can we be?
100%.
Okay.
Wait. What you about to say? I was like, hold on, don't get me demonetized though.
Oh no, I promise I won't do that. But there's certain
Say
words. So
say what's on your heart, but don't get me demonetized. Try to use a different acronym or saying if it's getting graphic.
I got you.
Go ahead.
I got you covered. So you mess with a man's protection, his peen, and his ability to provide. You mess with any of those things, you've just emasculated your guy. So let's deal with this. There was a comment that said something similar to a lot of times men emasculate themselves. So let me tell you why so many men, it's so easy to do. Because we define ourselves by how big our Johnson is, how big our paycheck is, and the stature of our presence. And anytime there's something wrong with either of those areas, this is why it's such a big thing that DJ Envy's wife said that, because she messed with one of those P's. Anytime that there's an issue here at this level, you are emasculating him, because not only should a wife cover her husband, should a woman cover her man, but there were some things that you do because you respect him. And when you divulge anything that could be a jab to his masculinity in those three P's, not only have you made him feel a certain way, but one of the things that's critical to a man is his reputation, his presence. And when you affect that, The emasculation is not just what he feels. Now he has this thought about how he's perceived. And
Mm.
that type of perception could drive a man to do all kind of things to reestablish himself in his own mind that he is the man that he wants to be.
Now we said it now, but say it again, sir. So his presence. So
His
showing
presence.
him respect in the presence of others, and I guess when you're by yourselves, is that what that boils down to?
Absolutely.
Showing respect. I remember dating a guy one time, and I didn't even know we were dating. I was kind of like, people were asking us. I had gone. He played soccer, and at the park. So I met him over at the park, and I was like, they were like, oh, so that's your girl, and I was like, nah, but I meant it in like a. This is only our second date. I didn't know that we was going together, and he was so mad. He was like, even if we're not really together yet, he was really disappointed that he was like, you disrespect me in my place. These are my boys. Like if I liked you enough to bring you out to the field, put it, basketball court, whatever, I'm gonna need you to claim me. And I didn't think anything of it. But that's an example, ladies. I remember it being like, gosh, he really took that deeply. This was the second time I saw you, bro. I'm
Yep.
not with you for real, for real. But in his eyes and in the eyes of those around him, he did not want to be seen as being rejected. So I hear you on that. So the presence, and again, you can put that in so many different levels in different ways in a relationship. I'm just
Mhm.
giving a simplified example. And then what's the next P?
That pain,
The ra.
ladies and gentlemen, the pain.
The
Yep.
Johnsons.
Yep. Yep.
So you're
Suzette,
saying don't disrespect.
Suzette, can I tell you something?
Yes.
There's a lot of men who are not confident in that area because socially, there's all kind of stuff that's said about this, and a lot of guys, we don't just go to the place and say, hey, let's whip it out. Hey, are we good? We good? We typically try to figure it out now, and hold we well enough, and we look at our woman's reaction. A woman has significant power over a man's self-esteem who's not confident in that area down there. Now, fellas, I'm letting out the secret, but y'all tell me if I'm wrong about this, right? She has the ability to affect them. Like you don't see men talking about how bad their women are in bed because that doesn't affect us. But when a woman wants to hurt a man, go after one of those P's, and you could break him down in a lot of different areas.
Wow. Sir Hale speaks, giving us the truth, y'all. And the final P is protection, you said?
Paycheck,
Paycheck.
his ability to earn and produce.
Hmm. Okay. So mess with any of those, then you're going to have emasculated man. Understand?
Absolutely.
Words of wisdom, y'all. I hope you're getting this. This was a question that I saw that I was wondering if you could address, sir. That stated, I hope I can find it back. The comments are rolling so fast and I'm so far behind, but it says, why do we look for masculinity and not for character, morals, and values? I think that's, well, I would love for you to answer it and I'll put my little.
Yeah, that's semantics. So the character, morals, and values are interwoven in masculinity. This obviates a problem we have. Like we don't see it enough, and so we think that this is foreign, right?
Or we think that it's
Masculinity.
separate from what she's describing. It's to me one and the same. That's
Absolutely.
how I saw it. When I saw your question, I'm like, but it's the same.
Yep,
But
it's
maybe
one of the
not.
same.
Maybe
But
not in
but
your eyes, but that's why, yeah, people don't understand it, perhaps, as a concept.
absolutely.
Interesting. I'm gonna read the comments as fast as I can. Let me see. Yes, I've seen the very disturbing sides of men. I've seen men turn, yeah, big turn off when it's they're being kind of like you want to raise them. I think that's when those comments came through. Let me see. Andrew says some women create the men they do not like. I am feeling like we need to create an organization to separate boys and girls and create situations for them to work on collectively. I think, well, I mean, studies have been done that girls that go to all girls schools, boys that go to all boys schools are different. They have a
Yep.
different understanding of who they are and they can work on things without that pressure of being in kind of joint spaces. I agree. There's some benefit to that. I do agree with like all girl spaces. I agree in all women's spaces, but I think it's also healthy
I
to,
agree.
break both out and then bring them together as well. Absolutely. Yes, welcome. Hit the like button. The world class. Nice to see you. The Black mother's children are simply something that can't tell them no. So boys to them is something that they have to get their rocks off with while they can. Oh my gosh. I understand your point. Sometimes the convo in male spaces aren't what he wants or needs to hear. This is true too. Let me go a little bit further down. Lots of my female friends, but are my of female friends, but can't sustain a relationship. This is a warning sign. Yes, man with a lot of women friends, but can't. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm gonna just let that ride. Thank you, thank you. Yes, let's see. Hey, Lamarcus, nice to see you. Thanks for coming through. Ace Butterfly says at Doug, I have been in male dominated environments and I thought it was only women that gossip. But I learned that, yeah, men can gossip. Oh my gosh. It's very interesting. But I think, again, it's what they learn. It's what they learn. And yeah, I'm not looking for a girlfriend man Shout out to share my life with and follow.
That's a
That's why
fact.
masculinity matters. To Miss C. Woody, Miss C. Marie, that's why it matters. And I'm not looking for a homegirl husband. That's what I actually agree with that. I want a
Homegirl
different type of
husband.
energy. Just say for me personal. I'm not gonna get everybody. Um, Ooh, interesting. Yes, NVNG. We're gonna drop the link in just a little bit for you guys to come on up. DL says it all goes back to dudes will do anything to smash. So if you want me to gossip, fine. If you don't want me to, you know how it goes. Let me see. Let me catch up a little bit. Thank you, Andrew, on the super duper chat. Shout out to my brother Andrew. New York in the building. Suzette is catching the spirit. So Hale is right. We need less Mitches. Ooh, 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 ooh. We must allow our boys to be masculine. So this is the thing. That word allow has come up a couple times. Is there a role that women have to play to quote allow a man
Whew.
to be
Oh,
masculine? It was said a few times in the chat. And again, I think that's one thing Tashina Arnold was maybe alluding to.
yes. So I got a response. I am so glad you asked. Can I give you an applause? Is that
Yeah,
okay if I do that?
of course.
I, I just, I just want to give you an applause. I want to give you an applause. So
Awesome.
if we're going to teach men leadership, we got to teach our women fellowship.
Mm,
Because if we don't teach what it takes to be with a leader, you'll reject it when a leader does something you dislike. And leadership is not about making you happy every single time. Leadership is about what's best for us. And sometimes that means making difficult decisions and making sacrifices. So if we're going to teach men leadership, we have to also teach fellowship. That's not a word, but it's in Sir Hale's lexicon. It's a word.
yes. Whoa, that's a deep sentiment. If we want men to lead, who is following them though, y'all? Who is following them? Right? Yeesh, that's deep. And are we being trained? Or are women thinking they are going to be the leaders of their households because that's what they saw their mom do in the last maybe generation or two? It's very interesting. It's very interesting. We got to really dig that a little bit deeper when we open up the panel. Yes, I should have opened up the show with a little prayer. Wait a minute. Yes, there are too many less compatible unions. TBE Trucking says DJ Envy's wife has all the power now. Whoa. Yes. Interesting question, says the Miss Creative. How can you emasculate a confident masculine man? Is that going back to the three piece? How can you?
Yeah. So he can be, but only by three women. There are only three women that a masculine man can be emasculated by. One is his mother, who he has not divorced from the toxic place. It is the woman he's married to. Now I'm about to mess up for this one. It's the woman he loves. Hold on 1 second. This is my dog barking. One second, guys. One second.
Pause for the cause. I'm reading the
Okay, I think
chat.
I think
Go
we're good.
ahead.
I think we're good. It's the woman. It's his mother that he hasn't divorced from that toxic relationship. It's the woman he's married to, and the woman he loves.
Mm.
Sometimes the woman that a man is married to is not necessarily the one he loves. Give me one
Or
second. Let me go get my dogs.
yeah,
I'll be
no
right back.
problem. Well, I'm gonna drop you down. I'm gonna read some of this chat. Thank you, Sir Hill. That's he done left us with some major food for thought. Y'all, I hope you're enjoying the show. Hit the like button first and foremost. Topic tonight is due to the tweet that Miss Tashina Arnold shared with us on her Twitter account asking what Black women can do in the United States to stop the emasculation or stop aiding, I think is was the quote, the emasculation of a Black man in America. We are now chatting with Sir Hill Speaks to see from a Black man's perspective, how true is that in terms of the state of emasculation? Are we doing things as women to contribute to it? And I see in the chat they say many folks have offered that there are men that are contributing to it themselves. And we're taking all sides. We're taking all sides. So I'm going to read. Thank goodness I can catch up a little bit more in the chat. If you're just coming in, thank you for everyone showing some love. Hit the like button, please. Hit the share button, please. Write a comment. That helps us get found in this algorithm, in this YouTube stream. So thank you so much for being here. First and foremost, your presence. Your presence means a lot. Let me get through some more of this chat because I'm a little bit behind. See, Marie, I really wanted to have Sir Hale address this. Men emasculate themselves. They need to find masculinity and be happy at what their personal level of masculinity is. Interesting. Sir Hale speaks. I see you back. Just read this for me. I want you to address this. Men, I'm going to read a few more comments before I bring it back. Men emasculate themselves. They need to find masculinity and be happy at what their personal level of masculinity is. Interesting comment. Jeremy says, since when are we talking about emasculation? Can we please talk about Tyler Perry movies? I'm dead serious though. Jeremy on that Tyler Perry. You ain't wrong though, brother. But then women feel like he make a woman downtrodden every time, and that we all mean and earn, and then the man always cheat on us. I ain't never seen no happy Black family. You throwing grits on people. You mad at this man. This man is a cheater. Very few, if any. I don't know if I can mention any Tyler Perry movies that are, showing both love and respect mutually and masculinity in a positive way. C. Marie adds, insecure, unhappy, emotionally unstable men allow others to emasculate them and blame it on women. Interesting. Thank you. Shout out to the minis. Jesus. I'm not laugh. No disrespect. Not laugh. I'm not laughing at that. I don't watch Tyler Perry movies. I'm not in that demo, says TL. Oh, Jesus. Sir Hale, this was this. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought there. They say we gotta cancel Tyler Perry, sir. I'm gonna bring you back in here. We gotta cancel Tyler Perry because he's emasculating. Miss Gold Girl presents. Maybe it's just time in human civilization for women to lead men. And we all need to stop fighting the inevitable. Interesting. Danny G says good women do not weaken their men. I agree with this. They strengthen their men.
That's a fact.
Doug says, one of my clients and I have been with for 7 years now, the wife told the husband that his is small and it never been the same since. It has even impacted our business relationship. Lord, destroy. Like, if you want to blow up your marriage, say something crazy. Even in the heat of the moment, we got to be careful, y'all, because we can't unsay stuff. We can't unring the bell. Once we are in that, passionate argument, we so mad, we can't stand none of them, and you say something crazy, the man never forgets that. Like, he already is shut down. He'll be at your dinner table still shut down. It's very, very disrespectful and taken to heart, as Sir Hale speaks described. Jet, it's nice to see you. Until single-parent households led by women become the exception and not the rule in the Black communities, things will continue to get worse. Women cannot raise masculine men. Some have, but en masse, I get your point. That is not always the standard, and we're not always. Character and moral value make great masculine. I agree. It's tied together. Hey, Dre, nice to see you. Thanks for coming through. Let me see. The architect asks, is telling a man who has the audacity to be interested in you, knowing that you are above him, I'm too good for you, in front of everyone, emasculate? Sir Hale, what would say?
Yes. Because if it was reverse and there was a young lady who came up to a guy and he did the same thing, it would be wrong as well. It's a kind way.
Rough, baby.
It's a kind way to be honest. Yeah, it's a kind way to be honest.
In front, that's the part. In front of everyone. That's the presence part. Don't disrespect me. That's a disrespect, my love. That hurts. I'm not even the person, and that hurts. Mosaic, thank you. Appreciate the super chat. Says, my husband was raised in a 2-parent household with a very strong father and went to an all-male high school. My baby is all-male. I bet that military can do that for some men as well. I bet. I bet with yes, I'm I'm happy for you, sis. Good for you. That sounds like heaven to me in terms of the type of leadership. This is a question, and maybe I'll when I open the panel, y'all, I'm ready to drop the link. Um, do you think we were talking about allow? And we were talking about do women quote allow men to be like masculine or not? And you brought up the point that women need to learn how to follow if there's going to be all this leading going on in terms of a relationship. So, do you think, or in your experience, I know you're a married man, I know you talk to men a lot, but single brothers. Do you think they feel like, or many black men that total generalization and anecdotal at that, but do you feel like they think that women are going to follow them if they try to lead? Or is that why they may choose to go along to get along instead? Like that their leadership may be challenged and therefore just to get what they want in a relationship, say it's a casual relationship or long-term happiness, they go along to get along because they don't want to be challenged, or the assumption is that especially quote unquote black women who are strong, or that stereotype of strong, because many of us are not and we are like kittens at home. um do you think they're afraid that women are going to push back against their leadership? I don't know if that's too much of a convoluted question, but I hope you understand what I was trying to
Sure.
get to.
No, I just think that they don't know. Men are okay with a false peace. The false peace of she's not saying anything, right? We're not arguing, we're good. And it's a false peace. They just don't know, right? And they defer because it's what they learned with their mothers. So they just a lot of them just don't know. And as rather than risk it, what they already have, a lot of them just don't try because they simply do not know.
I like when a man. I mean, listen, y'all ain't gonna tell all my business, but see, Marie, I think this is your point. Thank you so much, my darling. You're active in the chat. I can't get to all of your comments, but I'm reading them. Thank you. Super chat says men discuss masculinity as power, money, aggression, physical conquering. I expect masculinity to equate to morals, values, and ethics. So we didn't define terms actually when we started. How do you define masculinity, or how do you think most men define masculinity? Sir Hale speaks.
Yeah, so morals, values, and ethics are the roof. Under that roof is power, money, aggression, physical conquering, right? It's all those other things as well. So we want men to be these domesticated creatures. We want them to be these really soft teddy bears. No, men have to have some lion in them. They have to have some fire in them because this is what it takes when you have to protect a wife and kids. You have to provide. You have to have that fire. And this is why somebody said a single woman can raise a masculine man. That's not true. A single woman can raise a good man, but only a man can raise a masculine man. That masculinity, that the willingness to fight and to defend and to rip anything apart that comes in the way of his family. This is what masculinity is. And only men have the ability to unlock that and to cultivate that. Single mothers can raise good men. Men raise masculine men.
Interesting point. Interesting point. All right. I think I'm going to drop the link in about 10 minutes, Sir Hale. I see so many comments. I have another super chat. Let me actually put myself back in the show. Here we go. Enjoying the conversation, learning from you guys. I'm hearing what Sir Hale has to offer, and I'm loving it because there are different perspectives to this discussion. Again, tonight's topic is stop the emasculation, or how can we stop the emasculation of Black men? Again, we're using the information that was left in a tweet by Tyshina Arnold. We are now going to go to some of the responses that we saw that made this a very interesting topic for all of us here tonight. Again, hit the like button if you're just joining. I'm going to do a quick reset here. So here's again where we got tonight's topic from. Tyshina Arnold, as you guys know, famous actress, especially within the Black community, most famous for her role as Pam on Martin, tweeted, as I said earlier, on his question as related to what happened with Will, Jada, and the big smack at the Oscars. What can Black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men in America? Some of the responses, and Sir Hill, I'll just drop you down and read a couple. Let me see if I can make myself smaller, make this bigger. Yes. So one guy, random guy on Twitter, I appreciate the gesture, Miss Arnold, But I don't know if that is your responsibility. In and of itself, emasculation is subjective. Trans women, gay men portrayed in media, independent black women, none of these emasculates me. My manhood isn't that fragile. Hmm. Another tweet came from Tibet Travels, random person. Reject feminism was their response. Mm. Reject the superiority complex that the dominant society teaches y'all to have. We've been gravy in no weed. I think he means be gravy in no time if those two things are done. So reject feminism, says this one Twitter account, and reject the superiority complex the dominant society teaches y'all to have. I'm just gonna read one more. Lucianiga Flow, another Twitter user, offers, we as Black women are not responsible for the image that Black men have created for themselves. I wish people would stop placing this responsibility on us. And guys, these are just a few tweets. I could go on and on. Sir Hale, what is your response to some of those that we saw on Twitter before our discussion tonight?
Man, it says me in a sense, and the reason why is because I don't think that we understand the impact we have on each other. I don't think we get it, right? A woman definitely has it's not her responsibility, but she does have an impact. And I tell men this all the time. Now, Suzette, let me be honest with you. Is a man who wants to be in control of his own destiny. I don't like the fact that I have to admit that my wife has a profound impact on the way I look. I don't like it because I want to have the power to control that. But the
Mm,
truth is, the women in our lives, and then at a larger scale, they have a profound impact on the way that men, and more specifically their man, is viewed. It just is
mm.
what it is.
I think that's a gift
I
that
agree.
most women are taken for granted. The impact, and I don't think we realize how much, if that is your man, only your man, and the man who has selected you, how much what you think about him matters. How much he wants you to esteem him, how much he wants you to acknowledge and give him credit. Y'all be thinking, oh man, the stroking of the ego sucks. You don't need to be married, bro. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Can I just say it out loud? For those of us who think, oh no, men already know that they're special. No, they don't. In a society that constantly beats up men. All right, I'm getting there. I'm getting. Oh, let me drop this link. Let me drop this link. Anything else you want to offer? I'm so sorry I'm behind in the chat, guys. Let me open up because it seems like some of y'all might want to join the panel. I don't know. Every time I go to you, there's like 40 comments. So I'm enjoying it. Hope you are too. Glad you're here. Let me drop the link for those of you who want to come up. You do have to cam up, please. But join the conversation, whether in the chat, as many of you have been. I've been enjoying reading it, and I usually try to. That's how busy this chat has been in response to this conversation, and I love it. But I'm going to get to some of the super chats now. The link has been dropped. If you do want to come up, Trish, thank you for the poems. Pick up yourself from across the pond. Thank you so much. Showing love with those pounds. Another fire show. You got a siren or something you could give me, Sir Hale, with your sound machine?
I got some applause.
Yeah, okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm getting my sound machine next, y'all. Per DL Saint. So that's next on the list. Thanks to all y'all and your support. Have you ever been told your name sounds like a posh feline? Musette from a cartoon series. No, I have not. I have not. Now I gotta go Google. Thank you. No, you have now informed me of my name being used. Yeah, I've had Lebanese. I've had a lady from Egypt tell me Suzette is like a candy, like a sweet, like a lollipop. They were like, "Oh, your name is Suzette." I thought, I don't know if that's true, if it's Arabic or what. But thank you for that. Thank you for showing the love and support. In the back, I see Mr. Lamont, I see C. Marie, and I see TJ. Miss C. Marie, can you just flash yourself behind the scenes? You don't have to be on camera, just so I know you're real and not a bot. I knew you was real from the comments. Thank you. And I know Mr. Lamont 2X. Let me start bringing up the folks. Thank you again for the love here. Big up yourself and all of those. My second most watched place is UK. UK folks feeling the Suzette Speak Show. Thank you so much for the love. Ace Butterfly, leaders require practice. Women must choose wisely. We just talked about that last night. Go back and watch our show with Developing Dad. We have a selection of partners problem in the Black community. That's really what we have, both from the men's side and on the women's side. A lot was said about that. We're not going to go back there. Being a follower is important. I'm going to bring them up. TJ, you ready? How are you? Good to see you. C. Marie came from the comment section on fire, and Lamont 2X. Y'all welcome. How are you?
Good.
Auntie.
Good to see everybody. I'm grateful that you're here, spending some time watching, listening, and now contributing. So we'll start with Miss TJ. What are some of your thoughts on the topic tonight?
Well, it's funny because me and nephew just kind of talked about it just last night, and I think,
Really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I think it's unfortunate because, okay, whatever. I think it's sad that we as women, particularly Black women, and I can say that because I am one, that we've come to a point that we can't take any constructive redirection at all. None. We can't get any from the men. We don't want any from the women. So we just want to wander around doing whatever the F we want to do, and
Not
can't
all
nobody
of
say nothing.
Okay. Her opinion, y'all, but I hear you say.
And the reason why I say that, because I was one, and I think what Tashina Arnold was asking was an honest question, like she said. And I think what some women took from it is that she didn't say intentionally. She said, what can we do to aid and to minimize it? And I think, and I shared that there were some things that I was doing because women, particularly if you're raised in a single parent household, you're fixing everything. So you think as a woman, that's how you're helping, by fixing. Well, men are the fixers. So and when it comes to, say, allowing, it's not necessarily allowing a man, but basically don't interfere with it. Get out of the way. That's what they're saying.
Biggest lessons, and I ain't never been married, TJ, and you could give way more expertise on this, but a lot of married women who I have been around have come to this conclusion where, I should not interject myself in something that my husband has said he wants to do, and try to fix it or make it perfect or put my 2 cents on it. I should just, quote, let my husband do it. Whether it's the way I think it should be, the way I hope it comes out well, but I should not interfere in him choosing a task and doing it. And even if I think he's going to mess up, put it like that. And I think that is a powerful lesson a lot of women have not learned yet, because again, we are helpers, and sometimes being the daughter of a single mom or a daughter of a 2-parent home where you are firstborn and uber responsible. And I am the doer of the family. I've always been the, caretaker of the others. It can become a personality trait that does not serve you well when it comes to a masculine man.
Yeah. And I think, we don't intend to. And someone, I think Miss Creative said that's not true. And what I mean by Black women not allowing ourselves to be critiqued, I'm just speaking in general terms like we do in most cases, because if we can use the example of Monique talking about the bonnets.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
And it was mad. There was many.
It was ridiculous. And I talk about the fact that there was a time that a woman, whether you were related to her or not, she said, "Hey, young lady, you don't talk like that. You're too beautiful." You listened. So that's what even if you like, okay, I'm gonna blow her off when I leave. But
no, I remember that happened at college. I remember I was with a homegirl. We was walking around the set. We was walking around on campus. And I remember an older guy who was in graduate school. She was talking loud and cussing. And he grabbed her, stranger, and was like, "You are way too beautiful to let all that trash come out your mouth." And we were like freshmen or sophomores, and we were like, it was almost like our dad had stopped us.
Yeah.
But he did it in such a firm but loving way that we both was like, collect yourself and get it together. Like, do better.
Yeah.
But it wasn't forceful or, conquering as some people would say. It was a loving, firm correction. You ought to get in line. And we was like, okay, yes, sir, we'll get in line. Like, it was so
And even with the older women in the community, those big mamas, if you will, they did it too. And again, I'm talking from recent experience, even hearing the stories from my mom, who's 72. So when I say that we as Black women are not, we won't even take constructive redirection. I didn't say criticism. I said
right,
constructive redirection
right,
from
right, right,
anyone. And
right,
then, if I may, just really quickly, there was a woman who wrote in the Tashina Arnold's thing, it's not the Black women's responsibility to deal with the image of
right,
the Black man that they
right.
created. Okay, so get a hold of this, Black women. How about the image that we've created for ourselves?
I know. Now let's push back. And Mr. Lamont, I'm getting you right in now. A says, what wouldn't lack difficulty finding employment and masculine men? Some of the challenges are systemic. Other people are saying it's a Hollywood thing. Mr. Lamont, let me ask you, what say you in response to TJ and some of the comments that have been made throughout the show?
Oh, well, first of all, good evening, everyone.
Oh, you done chipped out. Good evening. Can't hear you. Ooh, sorry, can't hear you. Oh no. If anything, maybe you can log off of StreamYard and log back in. So sorry. Ew, we can't hear you. Can't hear you at all, sir. I'm gonna ask you to log out. Let me see if I can remove you. Kick from studio. No, I can't kick you from studio. It prevent you from rejoining the show. All right, you have to remove yourself from the studio and come back when your mic works. All right. Quick reset, top of the hour. I'm so grateful. You guys have been rocking with us. It's been a wonderfully interesting conversation with Sir Hale Speaks from the Sir Hale Speaks Network. Y'all go subscribe to his channel, please. He has been giving us the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth throughout the show tonight. It has not felt great, but it is necessary. I think it was Dr. Thunder on last night's show with Developing That said the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is apathy. That stuck with me. Thank you for that, Brett. Thank you for that word, sir. So if we didn't care, we wouldn't be talking. We wouldn't be here, spending our nights trying to get to the root of some of our issues, not your issues, our issues, right? So the fact that we even want to take up this conversation and talk about what are some of the pathologies that exist, and some of it is not just a Black problem. It is an American problem. I acknowledge that fully, right? Society at large has seen a decline in support of male leadership in some circles. Now, again, people still run Congress, people that still run most of the big banks, people that are still men. But within everyday life of working class, middle class men, there have been major shifts over the last 25, 30 years that has caused many men to lose their masculine identity. I'm just going to be straight up. Whether you are that man or whether you're dating those men, something has changed. We're trying to get down to the root of it so that we can help alleviate it, possibly in the future, so that women, younger or older, seeking men are identifying truly masculine characteristics, right? Not counterfeit ones based on maybe what they've only had as their experience, right? But healthy masculinity that allows you to rest in it, to follow it, to trust it. Okay, we're getting deep. I'm ready for y'all in the back. If you're ready, let me know. But let me read a couple more comments. Enjoying the conversation so far, y'all. I cannot keep up with the comments tonight. I'm so sorry. I'm buried. I'm like 2 points or 5 points behind the actual show going. Oh Lord, I love your comments, but there's so many tonight, and I love that. Let's start here. Real Nathan Dennis says it's not worth the struggle. Men, just go along and keep the peace. He like, we ain't fighting y'all. We're not gonna feel obligated to fight for our place, our headship. Black men, says Danny G, have been attacked since slavery and coming to America, and that attack does not stop. The goal is to destroy the Black community. We have 30 years to turn things around. Chaos in 2050. Like, get your acts together, or it's downhill. Downhill. Yes, let me go a little bit further, and I'll bring back Mr. Lamont now. Can you go ahead, sir?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. How are
Oh man,
you?
I'm pretty good. I'm talking for like 15 minutes, and
We
you
didn't
didn't
hear
even hear
not
me.
a word. Start over, sir. Come on in. Come
All
on in.
right.
Come on.
Well, I mean, just a couple of things. I mentioned the book by a Dr. Warren Farrell, who the name of the book is The Boy Crisis, and he essentially, for nearly, 300-400 pages, breaks down exactly what we're talking about. I
The
mean, it's
boy
just
crisis.
the boy crisis. Yeah,
Mm.
he's a PhD. It's an interesting book. It's dead on in regards to you know you had mentioned the over correction of we've addressed the needs of women to such a degree that we're neglecting boys need a little bit of attention too, and I think it gets no bigger. I always try to use as an example in the level of appreciation or the difference in the level of appreciation between Mother's Day and Father's Day, right? By example, dad gets a tie, a pair of socks, and if you go out to dinner on Father's Day, you can show up with a party of 15 and you'll be sitting down in about 5 minutes. But on Mother's Day, the wait is going to be about 3-4 hours long. Mom's going to be showered with all sorts of gifts. It's just the difference is night and day.
And the
And
songs.
yeah,
Do we have songs about fathers? Do we have a
there are
few?
some. I mean, if you did
But it ain't a lot like
the
how we have Mama,
exactly.
you know.
The OJ's made a the OJ's made a song, "Call Him Father," I believe. There's some songs,
Okay, I never
um,
heard no daddy
but
song. I might.
but the whole concept of so-called toxic masculinity. I mean, that is an affront. I think part of it is the whole alphabet soup community that's trying to just the concept of uh, uh, paternalistic or just the nuclear family. All that is literally under attack. I mean, and it's just it's saddening. You guys had mentioned in passing about how as a man you enter into a marriage and you start taking a back seat to your wife almost immediately if you know what's good for you. That the whole concept behind the so-called man cave, the garage or the downstairs bedroom is dad's place in the house, but the rest of the damn house is your mom's, right? And that is because men
Not
know
from the
very
beginning, not from the whole beginning of the marriage.
yeah,
Lord.
you guys know how to
They done took up the whole
wait,
house
wait,
and you get
wait
one
until
room.
you wait until you spring the trap. But I mean, the whole, just it, these family law courts need to be brought back into fairness. Okay, now that is the whole, that's how the gender war could be balanced. Because one thing, feminism, it started off as a good idea. Nobody, no man would say that women don't deserve fair treatment. But at present, it has been turned from a shield into a sword, and it has become a weapon of oppression, i.e., women expect fairness, but I don't know if you saw the article recently how the and this is just one example how the physical fitness requirements in the army for women have been lowered, right? I mean, if it's going to be fair, it needs to be that,
I hear
right?
you. And I want to bring up Miss C Marie. She's been so busy. And what Mr. Lamont, what do you say to Andrew though, that women are totally important in a male's masculine development? Is that true?
I mean, well, the phrase, what the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. If you leave your masculinity or your sense of self in the hands of somebody else, they can always take it away from you. So, I don't agree with that. I mean, it
Mm,
does it happen? Yes, but
mm.
you're putting yourself in a pickle by allowing somebody to take their heart with you and do with it as they will. So, I wouldn't advise that if I'm advising
Okay.
somebody. I
So
wouldn't
you're
advise
saying
that to be
no.
the. I mean,
Mm,
does it happen? Yes, it happens. Uh, my parents, my mom, that was the scenario. Okay, I wouldn't
wait,
advise
wait,
it
wait.
though.
Pause, 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 pause. Let me. I don't mean to interrupt, sir. So you're saying the scenario. You're a divorcee. Am I just
Correct.
making the
That
facts
that
clear?
is
So I
that is
want
correct.
people to be clear on your perspectives and where you're coming from. So you were
Hmm.
saying that with your parents, and I want to let C Marie jump in. And what were you going to add with the way your parents were?
Yeah. My,
Manipulated?
my mom, my mom was, my dad acquiesced to the wishes and wants of my mother. It wasn't, out of control or anything, but he was definitely a yes dear type of person. So, I
Get
mean,
along to go along. So he
I
didn't get no say in nothing.
I know. I mean, there was a balancing act, but everybody, me and my siblings, if you wanted something, you went to your mom. So,
Okay.
that
All
ain't.
right. Come on. Hold on one second. Let me get C Marie, who was so fire in the chat. How are you? Are you ready?
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? Hey, Suzette. Thank you
Nice
for
to
having me
see
up.
you. Thank you for being here. I know you was coming in hot on this chat. So wherever you want to pick up, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and you know why? As y'all was reading my chats back, I was like, yeah, that is kind of seems kind of hot, doesn't it? Kind of spicy.
A little
But
bit. A little
because this is it's always been such a confusing topic to me, especially in our community. Like I love the way um Sir Hale speaks,
bit.
but it doesn't seem like it matches reality for the
Mm-hmm.
collective.
Mm,
It seems like he's a man of a certain caliber, right? Of a certain uh, tax bracket and lifestyle. And what he speaks about may be true in his part of the black community, but is that really realistic for like the majority of the black community?
mm,
Because, and I feel like masculinity, and that's why I was saying about instead of saying my point was instead of saying masculinity all the time, why don't we say, hey, I want a nice ethical man, or a man with good values? Because I feel like masculinity is such a broad term,
it means different
and
things to different people.
yeah,
Yeah.
it means such different things to so many different people. Just like hearing the gentleman speak before me, like he has it's not even negative. He just his I would say his definition of masculinity is totally different from Sir Hale's. Because
Yeah.
he was like, women can't, aid in a man's masculinity. But if you're raised by a woman, she's cultivating you in some type
I
of
was
way.
gonna say I
So
disagreed with that, but his
right.
opinion is valid.
So
I
it's like
value it.
his
Hmm.
his version of masculinity would differ from the next man's version of masculinity. And
Hmm.
that's why another one of my comments was like, men should be, and it should have said men should be secure in what level of masculinity they are in. Because there's like this social construct of what masculinity is. You got to be tough, you got to pull women, you got to have the money, you got to do this, you got to be that. And I feel like a lot of men, when they're not that, they get insecure when they should just be like, hey, I'm not the toughest guy, but I'm still a man. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm.
still
So
have
you're
high
saying allow
morals.
for different degrees of masculinity.
Right,
Don't get people, trapped in trying to fill one size fits all when it
right,
comes to masculinity, because everybody don't have that same degree. Everybody wasn't clearly raised the same and may not know how to express it. Do
right.
you think masculinity can be taught?
Um, yeah, I think everything essentially is taught, right? We pick up on social cues, or whether it's directly taught or indirectly taught. Um, we're learning from everything from the time that we pop out of the womb. So yeah, I think it's taught. I
And in
think
that regard, do you think women are taught to accept masculinity?
oh, definitely, yeah. And like I said, it's more of a social construct than anything, especially, and of course, the black community isn't a monolith. We all had different experiences. I'm from New Orleans, and a lot of women that I talk to share this experience. As black women, we are taught, almost indoctrined, to accept certain things from men, like, oh, that's just men. Men do that. We our culture makes a lot of excuses, and I'm only saying this speaking as a woman, maybe men get told the same thing about women. I don't know, but it's like, oh, accept that because he's a man.
So that's two different things. And I think that goes back to your point in terms of definitions.
Okay.
So accepting male behavior is not the same thing as, for me, accepting masculinity as we've defined it here tonight. But I hear what you're saying. To accept certain things, boys gonna be boys. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that. I mean, in the most healthiest, purest form.
Okay.
Male leadership. Are we, specifically speaking in the Black community, as women, taught to accept or even reverence true masculinity?
Oh no, I don't think so.
That's my point. That's
yeah.
my point.
I don't think so. I don't think we see it enough. And I even struggle with this in my life, like, because I grew up in the hood. I grew up in a very toxic environment. When I got older and I got of dating age, when my very first serious boyfriend was a really good guy, he scared me to death because I wasn't used to seeing a man like him. Like, he was what I would consider the epitome of a man, like the epitome of positive masculinity.
Understood.
Man, I self-sabotaged that relationship so fast because I just wasn't used to seeing that as a man.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what leadership really was at the time. I had never met a man like him. So yeah, I definitely feel like as Black women,
we're not really being conditioned to accept it, much less recognize it. And thank you for being transparent in what you just said. You didn't recognize it. You never experienced that type of leadership. I put myself in that same boat, sister. As great as the dad I had, he wasn't perfect. And some of the ways he expressed came from his childhood, etc. Thank you for sharing that, because I think there is more than one way. I think, again, we've been describing what is masculinity, but I mean it behind acceptable male behavior. I'm talking about that leadership character and virtue that we all hopefully, and again, I understand your point. You're feeling like this is very gentrified. This ain't the hood. This ain't the, depending on your tax bracket, how you define masculinity definitely changes.
Yes, it does.
But I hear you. Let me read this super chat, please. The beautiful lie. Thank you so much for the love. Says women cannot, quote, allow men to be men. They can allow themselves to be women. Interesting. A woman in tune with her femininity readily recognizes a man in tune with his masculinity. Our opposites attract and a beautiful balance is created. Who wants to respond to that? Go ahead, TJ.
I'll say this: at my 54-year-old self, I would agree with that statement. At my 24 and 34 and maybe 44-year-old self, I would have argued with it.
Wow. Thank you for that transparency.
I would
you weren't ready for it. You weren't ready to accept or understand. Okay. Understood.
And to understand the difference, and understand and appreciate the differences. Again, because, a lot of it does deal with what the way that you're raised and what you are, your environment. Because even though my father wasn't the household, I had a strong grandfather, but, a very strong grandfather who was, and interestingly enough, my husband is very much like my grandfather and not like my father. But at that time, growing up in the 80s, coming of age in the 80s, you are taught to, you're not really taught what femininity is versus what masculinity is. You're just kind of going through life.
And again, we're using media. I know everything cannot be blamed on Hollywood. I hear you, and I saw that in the chat. But we use a lot of media to ground us, to understand if we do not have role models, what the rapper does impact the young boy. I remember guys at my high school that were the best church boys on Sunday and then would grab a grill on Monday and throw in a bottom full of goals and be bouncing through the hallway. And I'm like, dude, you're an acolyte. I need you to calm down. I'm going to need you to just be yourself. But in trying to figure out I was like, dang, the church didn't do a good job of that if that's what he felt like he had to do. And I'm telling you, his mom was the sweetest church lady. His people were regular, but his persona in school changed so much. Anyone else want to contribute?
Well, I just real quick that even the Bible
is in the back. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Even the Bible elucidates that point, because God designed man and woman to be helpmeets. one to the other. You know, we were designed, you know, by God's plan to be a team. Now, you know, you know, in regards to, you know, the masculine part, you know, is aggression the sum total of what a man is? No, it is not. But it is a component. Okay, it is something that the man was designed to be the protector. Okay, and I think, you know, it does all this talk of the red pill and all that. You know, I believe that helps kind of startle men to an awakening of how we've allowed these laws to get out of control. But
Mm,
we need to recognize, once we get those laws in equity, we need to recognize that we, you know, the black, I'm not, you know, I'm not red pill, I'm not feminist, I'm not anti-woman, or excuse me, anti-feminist, I'm not anti-woman. I love the black woman. We need each other, you know, and it was very interesting about the the lady had just talked about. I kind of went through the same thing. I was having a discussion, this was years ago, about you know, what it was with a young lady, and about what I was in my 20s, and what takes, you know, her idea, what creates what her idea of a good man. And she had talked about credit, this, that, and the other. And, you know, as my 25-year-old self, I was, you know, naturally offended. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Somebody got to have good credit to be, you know, be with you. But, you know, once you get of age, you know, that is credit, you know,
well, you better have a good credit score, bro.
you have to start thinking about, you know, reality. This is, it's
Yes,
not an offensive thing, but I mean, the point is, you know, when you 20, you look at the world different than when you 50. You know,
that's what TJ's point is. I
yeah,
think
exactly.
even
So
as
you
we're
know,
having this discussion, however, I know it will help people at different stages of their walk, because what we think of as masculinity at 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, it changes. Let me go ahead and read this super chat, please. Thank you for those comments. Lamont 2X, thank you. Duty, honor, caffeine. I love, because guess what? The masculinity, when I thought about all the things that is happening in Ukraine, oh my gosh, I was like, they got some real men over there that have to defend, have to protect, have to stand together. We don't like to think of that protector role, or dare I say, you muscle up. That's a part of masculinity. We want it to be used in the most healthy way, but it's a part of masculinity. When I see those men, like, I gotta leave my women and children behind. Y'all go to Poland. I got you. I was like, when are we gonna do that in America? If old boy come over here, if we got, well, I want the middle America, red blooded American men. I'm like, we need you, bro. We need you. And again, we don't have, you know, equal on the draft and things like this. I don't know if women really know what they asking for. I don't think they really know. But we're gonna,
As a former military person,
yes.
They don't.
They don't know what they're really asking for. I don't
Okay.
know what they're
They
asking
don't.
for. I'm just like, bro, you know what we asking for here? But let me read this comment. Masculinity is earned. And if you want to fight, fight. That's on you. But listen, okay, masculinity is earned. My father always said, these aren't my boys. I'm raising men. With that said, you won't raise or train a masculine man without his father. Thank you for that comment. What say you, Andrew? I thought it was Kennard from the top of the head. Sorry about that. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Hello, everyone. Ma'am, thank you for your service. And Miss C, I'm gonna get at you a little bit too.
See, Marie was killing them comments.
Yeah. Nah, the one thing is with the comment I made before about a woman being important in a man's road to masculinity is simple. When you're raising a boy, the first person that's going to handle certain things with the child is the mother. Empowerment starts by allowing the child to have choice, in particular with males. Men are egocentric. When you allow a child to have choice, in particular a male child, you give them a source of empowerment.
Absolutely.
As they go on, you let them have responsibilities. Now, the importance of, and I say this before many times, the importance of teaching young men how to dress, how to carry themselves, how to speak, how to wear shoes, slacks, how to tuck in your shirt, correct them. You don't have to be vicious. All this goes into setting up what a man is. I'm grateful my father was there for me. I'm grateful my father put me in suits when I was little. I'm grateful that my sisters kept my behind in check. I'm grateful that they made me sit down properly at the table. There are things that add to masculinity, but the first thing is learning how to subdue one's passions and impulses, and that's the first and foremost thing of becoming a man.
Passions and impulses, learning to control them. Don't let them control you. It's the second night in a row, y'all getting that work. Learning how to control impulse.
Oh yeah, listen, and
as a mechanism to true manhood.
Oh yeah. You see, Sir Hale, I'm a traveler as well. If you get the psychs, if you get where I'm coming from, there's certain things that I learned, and I find it disturbing that a lot of things that we need to make young men aren't there. Let's be real. People are not going to church anymore. In fact, in my opinion, it caters more to people that tend to be softer in certain aspects. And you don't see those things. Well, the whole thing is it's looseness with certain things. Things that were to be shamed are tolerated a bit too much. Now, I'm a moderate person and I can be liberal with certain issues, but here's the reality. I don't care about sexuality or anything else, but there's a core form of decorum that must and will be established. I don't care what you think or how you carry yourself.
They're gonna hate you, dog. They're gonna be mad at you. Well, I've seen this in the chat, and I want to ask you. Sorry to interrupt. I want to ask you this specifically. There's been a lot of talk in the chat about women being fully expressed as professionals, as people who are breadwinners, and that effect on masculinity. Can the two coexist, or is that a threat to masculinity? Just the existence of a professional woman getting her bag and living that, lifestyle. Is that a threat to masculinity?
Well, no, that, please. No. And I'll tell you this straight up. In reality, the first thing in leadership is knowing when to defer certain things to people that have to be more capable or efficient in a certain area. This allows you to function more efficiently. If my wife is Oprah Winfrey, you better believe I'm going to step to the rear. I'll let Grand Puma come on a rifle, straight up. I will let them do what they got to do. You have to change roles slightly to fix it. Because as a leader, I know what I know and I know what I don't know. But that does not take away from me being masculine. It doesn't mean anything. The problem is our women these days, I hate to say it this way, tend to be more ego-driven. Unfortunately, it's our Black females. Because guess what? Let me keep it 100. They don't talk to their white bosses that way. I'm going to say it out loud. It's vicious, harsh, and truth. If you talk to me the same way you talk to your boss, that's it. I try to show everyone a plain respect. I went to an all-boys military school, like I said before, but I found that I got along with women when I spoke straight up, but in a respectful way. That is my problem when I see people trying to put people down. And unfortunately, when I go out on the street, and even our West Indian community, sometimes they try to dominate the men, and you kind of make them feminine because they become too docile. Another problem is Black people, we are too damn humble at times. Guess what? There's certain things that we do excel at. There's certain things that we are great at. And you know what? I'm not going to put my head down. And I found myself trying to be humble. I wasted 10 years. I've had issues, like I said before to you, where I was offered less. I was let go because of straight up and through admission that they were afraid that I would take their job. So you know what? I'm not stuck like that. I'm blessed to be in the position that I'm at with friends, resources, and the condition I'm in. I was born well. I traveled to Europe when I was younger. But guess my life is good like that. So there's not many that can say anything to me, and I'm not going to allow them to dominate me. Right. And it's not being overly masculine. It's being real. Right. There's a greatness in every one of us. It's a necessity.
That's why I think people don't like to really understand this American lifestyle that we live in, or a society that we live in, is a competition. And I think sometimes we do not like to emphasize that. We want to be, especially within our community, collaborative and Christ-like if we are religious people. But I think at the end of the day, one thing our counterparts have understood for a very long time, they're going to be Christ-like and they're going to get their bag. And they're going
to. But you don't think it's why you say Christ-like. Yeah. Christ kicked the people down, and kicked their boys way of gambling in the church. That seems to be a bit masculine too.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. No, they don't emphasize, but even think about that. There has been an emasculization of Christ.
Yeah.
His depiction in current modern day presentation to people, his softness, his acquiescing of this. Christ was a rebel.
Well, he put fear into people's hearts because
He
he
didn't
conquered
speak softly all
intellectually.
the time. Yeah, that
Listen,
has
he had
been
the mind.
de-emphasized.
And you know what? He had a
Go ahead.
whole bunch of women by his side. And guess what happens? When you have a certain amount of masculinity, women will follow you. I don't care about sexuality.
Naturally.
It's going to happen. And if you're cool with people, that means I'm controlling. If I'm not going to manipulate or subdue the passions by impulse, that makes me more masculine. Sometimes you're more manly when you do less and work off of impulse. Now, I believe in courting. Dating is rubbish. It's a waste of time if you don't do it correctly. It becomes transactional.
We talked about that yesterday. We ain't going back
No,
down there.
we're not going there. But it's the way society has become transactional and less intellectual. Now, if you're going to court someone, you get to know them. Before you put $1 on a table to go eat with them, you should know what their favorite color is, how their family setup is, where they're from, whom raised them, how they're raised, and some of their core values. This will cut the time and dead the BS. And this is me, straight up. I'd rather, like, if I don't go out with anyone right now, I'm good money. That's just me. I've been blessed that way. And I have a great family no matter what.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me let somebody else jump in.
Sorry.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. Let me read this. First of all, first gen corporate. I've been wanting. I didn't find you on Insta, my brother. You was doing work over there on Pocket Watching with JT the other night. I'm gonna leave it there. First gen corporate, you was doing work, sir. Respect to you. Nice to see you. Thank you for the support. Shout out to Suzette Speaks. Tough conversations need to be had. Us young professionals are up on the game in 2022 and thus moving differently. More money to keep us single than united as people. Exactly. We're getting the bag, but we want to hold it for ourselves. We're afraid. This is what I'm going to tell people right now, Andrew. I think it was not Jenna Bush, but the other Daddy Bush daughter. I forget the other twin. I can't think of her name. She was saying on the show where Hoda and Jenna host this morning. I was listening, and then she was like, I was tired of people asking me, why are you single? And you know what her response was? She was like, because it seems kind of expensive to get a divorce. So I'm like, I'm going to be using that. No, don't use it. But she was like, yeah, because it seems like it's kind of like, it's tough to get a divorce now. So, but yeah, this whole idea of women accepting masculinity and whether or not, I want to go back to that a little bit for the rest of the panel. There is identifiably a need. This is what people are saying. Does a woman have to be a smaller woman in her career, in her life, in her thinking for a man to feel masculine? Must we diminish ourselves?
No. I'm sorry.
Okay, explain. No, that's what
I thought I was still on mute, but like, no.
No. Tell us how you really feel, TJ. I know I'm not mad, but a lot of people are saying, I think that might be conflated, that there is a need to be smaller or not achieve as much or make less money for a man to feel masculine. Is that what we're saying here?
I think some people are, and I think it's important to consider the fact that careers nowadays, people just make more money, and a lot of times because women, let's say many women have chosen the path to go to school, and men may chosen the path to go to work, and so sometimes that's where the disparity in income comes in. But I have several friends who have been married for 20 plus years, and many of them make more than their husbands. But guess what? Their husbands are still head of that household, because it's not about the money that's the issue. It's about the mindset that's the issue. It's about when you leave work, you leave that hat at work, you leave that jacket at work, and when you come home, you are that wife and mother. You're not that boss B. That's the difference. And that's the difference that I did not understand largely in my 20s, 30s, and stuff, because I was, I didn't have anybody. I was a single mother, and I was in the military. So guess what? I was telling folks what to do. So, but it was, and again, when I met my husband, I was still, pretty high up in the federal government. But guess what? I had my mind checked. And I did. And like I said, he never, to this day, and I'm retired now, my husband allowed me to retire. He never knew how much I made.
Wow.
And you can look it up. If you know what my grade was in the federal government, you can look it up. He never did, never cared. But guess what? Every dime that came in, I yielded to him. Decisions I could make, I deferred to him. That is the mindset. But the problem is, we women, and I can say that because I was one, we have difficulty letting go of control. I had to admit that when I decided I wanted to retire, and I felt I like, well, honey, I could do this, and I got this money coming in, and he said, you just can't let go, can you? So I had to get
Let
growed real.
go. Oh my
I
God.
had to get growed because when
Yeah.
it's control, and just be honest. That's the problem. I'm done.
Well, okay, Sir Hale, let me get you, and then I'll get Miss C. Marie back in the game. Do women play a role in terms of the professional woman as she is, in terms of her character or characteristics? I can't paint every professional woman the same. Let me stop. Is there a role that professionalism? I'm trying to, let me find an actual comment in the chat to kind of address it. Do you want to add anything, C. Marie
Oh,
or
absolutely.
Hale? Sorry, I'm trying to frame the question precisely, but go ahead.
Sure. So for a woman to be less than who she is disrespectful to the man she says she loves.
Right.
No man wants his woman to be less because it speaks to him. If you got to shrink, that means he's little. That's a big thing that women need to understand. The other part to this is, I think that we have it backwards. We pull from our homes to go build the world when we should be pulling from our careers to build our homes. It's just, we just got it mixed up. And I think when we have a perspective that I'm using my job to advance my family instead of me using my family to advance my career, once we get that in order, I think the perspective changes.
Well, we're not emphasizing that in the Black community. We're trying to go out and build companies. We're not building families and legacies, or at least that's been de-emphasized as what the real goal of life is. Bring those resources back home directly to your family, home to your village, if you will. Instead, outward success, in a way, solo success has been the value system, or the new measure of success, which is really kind of scary. Vaughn, did you want to add anything, Miss C. Marie?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
You can read the comment first if you want to, though.
Okay, Vaughn, I'm way behind, y'all. Just bear with me. Masculinity alone does not make a man a good citizen, a good person, a good father, a good Christian. For example, those effeminate men try to silence Black women. Hey, Queen, like me. I see a lot of back and forth about being effeminate, and we should be able to identify some of those characteristics, but I think it's more than that. Sir Hale speaks. I'll toss it back to you on that one, but go ahead. What did you want to add, C. Marie?
Yeah, I really like what Sir Hale just said. And I'm sorry, I don't know the lady name that just spoke.
Yeah, TJ Randolph.
Oh, TJ. Okay, I'm sorry, Miss TJ. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about what she said. I totally agree with what Sir Hale said, though. I feel like in our community that we have a unrealistic relationship with money. And I don't think we don't see it as a tool enough. I think we more so see it as a sense of power. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I cultivated this thought enough, but money is just a tool. And I agree with what he said. Like, you should be pulling from the world to build your home and not the other way around. But I kind of don't agree with what Miss TJ said. But we're also not the same person. So if she's happy with it,
respect. So what would be your counter argument? And you don't have to agree. What would be the way you would frame it?
Which part does she not agree with?
That's what I'm curious. Yes.
As far as, and I don't know if it's so much. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't do it. Like you were saying that women like to have a sense of control, and I do agree with that part. I think that's just human beings. Period. You know what I'm saying? Most things in life are just a power struggle. I wouldn't give my paycheck over to someone. We would share the money, but I don't know.
You're like
you literally
would I
did
do that?
Or...
But she was saying she's the breadwinner. She made more. She's like, nah, I ain't doing it.
And being a breadwinner wouldn't matter. And I would never be like, oh, this is my money. No, this is our money. It's for our household, for our family. But I don't know if I would just give anyone that much control, because I think control in a relationship should be shared and not.
That's not what I said, babe. I said no.
I'm sorry if I misheard you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't say that. What I said was that although I made more money, he never knew how much money I made because the money went into our joint account, but he never cared. So my point being, the decisions that be made, that, I'm the house manager, but my point is I was single for over 20, almost 30 years. So control is something that I did not ask for, but it was my life. So when you yield that, when you go into a covenant with someone, some part of control has to be released to, for the man to take his rightful place. But the decisions that made far as financially, we make them jointly, but I do defer to him. And that's what a wife is supposed to do, in my opinion.
So do you agree with that deference?
Oh yeah, I totally agree with what she said, and I heard it totally wrong then.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah, everything she just said, I definitely agree, because it's a partnership, it's a union. I feel like, especially in these YouTube streets, people are just being defensive, and it becomes a power struggle and a war of the genders, when really it's like, you should do anything for your man because that's your person, right? And vice versa. I don't think it should be a power struggle. Like, no, I have more power than him, or he has more power than me. I never understood that dynamic. It's like, why isn't a conversation ever like, we're working together to build this unit, build, what our dream life is. But like I said, in the YouTube streets, it just becomes like the war of the genders.
Yeah. I don't want to ask this question because it's a hot button. It's an LGBTQ question, but I don't necessarily agree, but I'm going to read it for sake of the public forum, public square. Ace Butterfly asks, I've heard several men complaining about how there is a disproportionate amount of LGBTQ representing Black men in news, daytime TV, etc. What are your thoughts? Anybody want to touch that? Go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I have to give a shout out to RuPaul. If you've noticed, he does not go on stage in drag anymore when he does interviews. He wears a pressed shirt and a suit because he's setting an example. If RuPaul is doing those things, you got to take notice and give credit where it's due. It doesn't matter what your sexuality is, but when they want to do certain images, in my opinion, they want to just dominate a group's opinion on certain things. You don't have to be prejudiced not to agree with something, but at the same time, you don't want to force it onto a medium that's accessible to everyone. You don't see heterosexual couples doing certain things on TV as much during certain times. That's an issue. There's a time and a place for everything. I don't care which sexuality it is.
So let me get to that question. So sorry to interrupt, but the question is there more representation of perhaps African-American men who happen to be LGBTQ on the TV now, as opposed to in years past? I think that's more of the issue.
Yes.
Are there cis or hetero normative there, or are we seeing a trend that is going in another direction? That's what I think they're asking.
Well, I think they're trying to make people more comfortable with it, so they're trying to make it more normalized. Good or bad is pretty much to the individual or individual family's opinion, but it's just trying to normalize everything. So by joining other colors in that role, they're trying to say everyone could be like this. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Anything from you, Sir Hale Speaks?
I completely agree with what Big Bro said.
That it seems as if trying to normalize and make people more comfortable seeing people in different lights, different walks, different, characteristics. I hear you. Let me acknowledge DL Saint. You don't have anything to worry about, Suzette. Paratroopers bring somebody come over here. I've been thinking we need that masculinity then. Y'all, we be cheering on, go babe, go fight. We'll be trying to, we'll be standing in the back talking about, go ahead, my brother, go, you got this then. You better be doing it on a regular. Thank you again, Unsolicited Security Boss in the building. Thank you for coming through. They say this brother, I think they were referring to you, Andrew, speaking facts. Yes, sir. Panel, I see one other person come back. The Harmony Pill is in the building. How are you?
¿Cómo estás? Hi, Suzette.
Bien, y usted, or I could say.
Okay, there you go. Hey,
my basic Spanish. Let me leave that alone. My basic Spanish. How are you tonight, my darling?
I'm doing good, love. Thank you for having me up here. I'm not going to be up here long because you guys had a really good conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
This is just my personal opinion because I've heard this topic floating around the space and I've heard everyone's different perspectives, and I think it's being blown out of proportion just by some parties, especially when it comes to some people being offended by Tashina Arnold's question.
Mm-hmm.
why don't we just get back to the basics, ladies? All it takes is, why don't you just choose a man that you trust who can lead you? If he's the right man for you, be happy with that and hush, let him be him. Because I think what's happening is ladies are choosing these men. Mind you, sweetheart, you chose him. And then when you get him, you want to mold and shape him into this project that you have in your head. No, you chose him. So be happy with who you chose and let him be the man and leave it at that. That's all it needs to be.
Mm.
That's
So
all that I
you're
wanted to
saying
say.
people are very upset with the level of masculinity that they're seeing or wanting, and maybe wanting to try to again raise or cultivate that in people, and it doesn't work like that.
I think it goes down to what they're choosing. That's essentially, it's going to revert back to that. Whether it's, because that's what I'm hearing. Again, if you have an issue with the level of masculinity that you see before you, I don't know if we are speaking on a relationship dynamic, because I heard some people taking that approach, or we
Yes.
just mean men in general. But I'm just going to speak on it from a relationship dynamic. And that's all that I wanted to say. I can't speak on the whole spectrum of every
Yes.
man on the face of the planet, but relationally, I
Yes.
just believe it goes down to choosing who you feel is right for you and respecting that you chose him and letting him, you just trust his guidance, trust his leadership. If you're going to choose him, you have to respect him. And that's all that I had to say.
Absolutely. I
Thank you
agree with
guys.
that. Thank you. Okay, she said I'm popping in and out. Thank you,
I'm out.
Harmony Pill.
I got a response for you
Can
as
I
Go
well.
ahead,
respond?
respond.
Yeah, so I think people need to be honest with themselves. If they could have picked better, they would have. So you can't pick a car and then get upset that that's all you could afford, and then you complain about it, right?
Amen.
If you could do better, likely you would have. Most
Shonda.
people, what they like to do is they pick somebody on their level, and once they're getting what they deserve, I'm using that word very lightly, you want to complain. Well, no, if you were a better you, if you were in a different position, you would have picked better. You cannot pick what you have and then get mad at it later, because who you were
Amen.
with, whether you like it or not, is a reflection of who you are. And I say this to everybody. I can
Jesus,
tell you
girl.
what you think of yourself by looking at who you with. If you could do better, you would.
And maybe we need to work on ourselves, guys. Help me, oh God. I have been in that situation. I'm laughing because I'm like, that's all down my street, around my corner, in my front door. Because in my places and times in my life of low self-esteem, you pick the worst people. You got to work on that first. You let people in. I'm like, how did you get in here? I think I heard Chantel Simone talk about that. You're like, how are you here? You're not even like on my level. Why are you here?
Well, if I may,
Who
real
sent
quick,
you? Like,
real
it's
quick,
very
and I'm
puzzling, but that's who you were at that time.
well, and it's funny because I was like animated because Sir Hell speaks took the word literally out of my mouth, like get out of my head, get out of my head. But it's so funny. It's actually, I was gonna say, if it was that easy, everybody would do it.
Yes.
And apparently it wasn't that easy, and a lot of it is just life experiences, because if I had it all right, I wouldn't have waited. It wouldn't have taken me to 51 to find the right guy. And unfortunately,
Mm.
when we're younger and inexperienced, and we think we know what we know, and we're looking for the wrong things. I can speak for me. You had to be this tall, this bright, this kind of, and we're looking for the wrong things because we don't even really know what we're supposed to be looking for, and we're looking very superficially. So I
Yeah.
think, and it's, Harmony Pill is absolutely 100% correct. But the challenge is, like Sir Hell
You
speaks,
can't do better if you don't know
if you
better. If
don't
you
know
don't, if you
better,
can't, yeah. That's why
yes,
this
Right.
conversation is important, because a
yes,
lot of people will sit in, again, best quote I heard, Jennifer, what's her name? That plays all the moms and the grandmas in Blackish, and Jennifer, I can't think of her name. Oh my gosh. She plays like the mom or grandma in every
Lewis.
Lewis.
I
Blackish.
think Jennifer
Jennifer
Lewis.
Lewis.
Lewis, thank you. Jennifer Lewis said, if you sit and beep long enough, you stop smelling it. So I've never forgotten that, where it's like it becomes normalized to you and you don't even know you're in crap, right? You're sitting in it, it doesn't smell anymore. But once you recognize that smell, you got to get up. You got to get out of it. But it's that recognition process that hopefully conversations like this help to accelerate, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. How we treating our man, how our man is treating us, who we're selecting. Is it a reflection of me? I look at that man, ooh, I mean, I can look at men and look at their wife, and I think the same thing. I'm like, that's how he thinks of himself.
Right.
There's so many parts of our relationships that, again, what we have not worked out, will come out in our romantic relationships one way or another. Danny let me know most women do not have careers. They just have jobs. Once they done with that degree, let that sink in.
Wow.
Well, not everybody, but thank you. If only women can learn to save and invest better, gain some foresight. All right, they're getting on it.
Was that his comment or was that Kevin Samuel's comment? I'm just curious.
Right.
Hierarchy is a must. The architect says, since when does mindset alone provide for a family? The money that he earns is directly correlates to his mindset. Low mindset equals low earnings and vice versa. Is it thank you, Ace. Is it wrong to encourage a man to aim high, for example, with his occupation or income? Is that emasculation? To say, babe,
I wouldn't think so.
No, I hope that, Sir Hale, is that emasculation to say you could do better? Let's try this.
Yes.
It
And
is.
here's why. He should be doing it himself. You don't need to tell him that.
That's true. That's true.
You don't need for
That's
that.
what we just said, Sir Hale. We didn't all pick the best ones. Sometimes we got a project on our hands.
I thought that it's not emasculate if you encourage, but once they say this is not what I want to do, let it go.
No, but I will say this. I feel like women,
I want to respond to that too.
Fix guys. Like they'll pick a guy and they'll be like, I could fix him. He just needs some motivation. He needs somebody to love him. I can do that. And I can understand how that can become demasculating or emasculating because he never told you he wanted to be a millionaire, but you steadily trying to push him to be a millionaire.
Go ahead, Sir Hill.
I think it's worse than that. Like that part, that's you being inspirational. That's one thing. What happens is women go into mother mode. So you start looking at him and he says, I got a dream. You start going to go do it for him. Baby, I got the license for you. I got the LLC for you. Baby, I got your work clothes for you. Like women need to, I'm going to say this.
Don't do none of that. Don't get the license and registration. And
I'm
going to say this in a nice way. I'm going to say this in a nice way. Ladies, you got to stay in your place. Because if you start stepping on that man's toes and doing his job, you become a crutch and he doesn't fall on his face, knock his head up, make the mistakes required for him to be successful. So you got to stay in your place and let that man be a man. When he is ready to do it, he will do it without you having to cheerlead for him, right? You cheerlead after he's doing it, not before. Men need to be men and women need to stay out the way.
And I also feel like it causes a form of resentment for those men because he didn't get it like a man. Like he didn't get to get it out the mud on his own because like you said, you always right there. I got the LLC for you. I saw you was busy, so I went and did it for you. Like,
but you just trying to help. But you just
as soon as she get mad. But after
I
did
to do this
after everything you go. That's how you doing it.
I want your number in your secretary. Working every day of the week. Sorry. Flashback. Sorry. So we not supposed to do none of that. That's emasculating.
Stay out the way.
I was just having this conversation with my best friend. And I was like, man, you have to let your man be a man. Like, stop taking care of him. Like, be there for him. But you literally taking care of him. And I could tell in his eye, he feels some type of way about that.
So what you supposed to do? Just sit back?
Well, Suzette, you like Buju, right?
Yes, I do. I'm learning here. Yes.
I want to be loved, not for who you think I am or who you want me to be. Could you love me for me? Real love with no strings attached. I want to give you my heart. Don't want to take it back. Remember that, Suzette. You were singing it.
Good song. Big up Buju Banton. Yes.
That's it. The truth is, we are egocentric. Sometimes let the bull run.
Okay.
You don't put the bull on a leash. Let him do what he does. Let him tire out and then figure out certain things. You could guide, but don't control.
Got it.
A feminine woman will have more control. Like there it is. A queen runs things because she has the power of influence. Doesn't have to be dominant, but if I love my woman, I want to be successful and be as prosperous as possible for that queen. That's the reality of it. Even with my daughter. If my daughter wants something, I'm going to make sure I get that little thing, except for that boy Matthias that I feed for free, but that's a whole other thing. But it's just like, it's just her little friend. But it's just, my thing is this.
Coming over to eat, I get it.
But the thing, you get free food. I don't know, feed her little boyfriend thing, but the thing is this. We want to be loved. It's simple. Men are simple. Women are a 5-course meal. Men are peanut butter and jelly. You have to understand this. We look at a room, it's white with a floor. A woman would say it's a wooden floor, it's turquoise wall coloring, the sheets are made of satin. We don't care about that.
Don't care nothing about it.
Bed, room, sleep. That's us. Don't put too much on us with those things.
Okay.
We don't want to think that much in that area. Sometimes you just have to be easy
I
with
saw
it.
a man today in lunch in the line. I was grabbing some like a poke bowl, and he was trying to make up his mind and what to put on it. And then he eventually was like, just do mine just exactly like hers. He was like, I don't want to have to think about it. It's all right. Whatever she just had, put mine together. But at first I was like, that's such a cop out. Then I was like, you know what? The man is not wrong. He just it's not that important to him. He's more important about the, more focused on that call or whatever he needs to do next. Just make it easy. Go ahead, Sir Hale. What were you going to add?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Either one of you. Go ahead.
I was going to ask how many of us women, because I remember, friends, family, particularly women say men are simple. Men are not that difficult. I didn't believe it for a second. Didn't believe it for, no, he wants this. I got to get this I got to do this. And they
simple.
Man, I caused myself so much heartache.
But Miss JT, I don't see how you. So I was in the Army for 10 years. That's why I learned that men are simple. Like they are simple. Like
I know, but see, it's different when I compartmentalize when I was in the military versus in personal, and there should be no compartmentalization because my husband told me when he met me, he could eat beans and cornbread every day, and he meant that. But me as a woman, that's exactly. But a woman, no, well, let me put a little extra, put a little salsa in here. We're not going. So we do the extra, but again, I would compartmentalize because you're absolutely right. In the Army, it's pretty straightforward. But for some reason, I didn't get the correlation between men in uniform and men not. They're still men. So that's what life has taught me.
Miss Globe girl, hey girl, I'm finally catching up. So these men are not looking for supportive women. They're looking for robots to stroke their egos. They should be.
Can I speak to her? Can I speak to her? I've been waiting to catch her the whole time.
Go ahead. I've
been waiting for her. That's not true. Sometimes one needs support, motivation, and inspiration. It does not have to be controlling nor dominant. It could be the same thing for one's wife. If she wants to do something, I'm not going to go tell a woman how to do anything. I learned that from my mother. My mother's a 5'4" Jamaican woman. You don't tell her anything. You just give the support and resource to do what needs to be done. Shut up, sit down. My father will not tell my mother, oh, you need to add more salt to this. You mad? That does not work.
So they're saying, let him be a man and be happy unless he asks.
Right.
And when they told me, get it together, Sue. I'm going to get it together. I'm a helper. But apparently I shouldn't be. All right. Let me accept and not go too far with this. Apparently. What were you going to add, Sir Hale? Lord.
Sir Andrew is straight from the mountain of wisdom. What he is saying is spot on. And what he's saying, everything he's saying is right on.
They talking about Buju not married though. Be careful. Woo! A says some black men, and this is the last call for the panel. We're going strong, y'all. I'm enjoying this, but we're gonna wrap up soon. Hit the like button, drop a comment, final questions, and the final call for the panel. I'm gonna read some more comments, get what everyone's final comments are on the conversation. I'm definitely enjoying it. A says some black men seek women that are just space fillers. When they have their money right, they moving on. An effeminate man, Queen Regina says, is not a man. He desires to be a woman.
Yeah, that's not true.
Okay,
I don't agree with that either.
I don't know, because I feel like there are men that just don't have the training in how to be masculine. That's right. But they're not necessarily attracted or want to be a woman. I don't know. I think there's degrees to that comment. Greg Scotland says, as the kosher clinician says, if the woman protects his six, then I know he's a wise clinician too. Then he will protect her six. Let the bull run. If we don't learn nothing today, let the bull run. Quote from Andrew. Thank you. Psychology, that's men's nature. Thank you. Let me take notes, I guess. Listen, be the student. The Harmony Pill, thank you again for coming up. Says, who wants to spend their whole relationship trying to rebuild the man? Why we got into this Build-A-Bear? Why is it so few and so far between, or people feel desperate, or they just gonna take the next one that come on the bus, or what? Why are we taking and trying to recreate a whole person?
All of
And
the above.
oh my gosh. It's
All of
supposed
the
to be
above.
laid back. I agree. When I start having to do effort, I'm like, this ain't natural. This is not flow. This is work. This is, me training you. I feel like that's weird. I don't know. Why are we doing this? Why are we building a bear instead of accepting a bear? Or finding one that's
Disney.
acceptable? Go ahead.
Disney. I blame Disney. I blame the fallacy of these movies and stories, with the only exception being the one black princess who had married a deadbeat guy that had no money, but he was fronting.
And she had a job.
Think about that. We're not going to go there per se, but look at that. Yeah. The one black princess is the one that married a guy that had no money. But that's a whole other thing. Think about that, but we'll leave that alone.
I want to leave the panel with a kind of sense of, if women are emasculating, because it sounds like, quote, being professional is not a threat. It is the mindset or attitude or whatever is interpreted as a superiority, I guess, in a sense, has been mentioned. So I want to give one tangible takeaway of what women can do. Not that it's, quote, our responsibility, but we might even be contributing to it without, consciously knowing it. So not trying to reprogram and fix a man. Men are simple. Thank you, Danny G. We don't have 20 million lists of requirements. I hear you, brother. So I just want a simple, one thing we can all do, women specifically, to help improve the condition of our brother's masculinity. I don't know how else that I can say it. That is, if you want to, ladies. I hear you. That's not my responsibility. He's supposed to be doing this. A man makes himself. I say all the comments from throughout the conversation. I'm just saying, if we were to look at it and say, like Tashina said, what could we do?
Stop coddling them and let them be men.
Stop coddling them. From all ages and stages, all age ranges, right. It sounds like.
Yep. Because I wanted to respond to the lady that kind of came on and left.
Yes.
So many women was offended by what Tashina said, or they became defensive behind what she said, is because in our community, it seems like everything just gets blamed on the black woman. I think people took it as her pointing the finger at the black woman for being the reason why our community is in the state that it's in. But my answer would be, stop coddling them and let them be men. Let them be leaders. Let them fail. Let them get up, dust themselves off, try again.
I said, they talking about, I don't know about that 6. She talking about 6'6". She talking about the dope. That's the devil. Oh, pound for pound said Suzette needs help, y'all. We try to hook up with TLA. Actually, I emailed TLA on Patreon today. Get out my business. No, just kidding. TLA is my homeboy. TLA, again, when it comes to masculinity, men know what they want. How about that? Anyway, Build-A-Bears know what they're looking for. They're seeking out nurturing women. So maybe there are, men who are not yet completely, flowing in their masculinity, need this kind of coddling, and are seeking nurturing women to build a bear. Ladies, we've been warned. We've been warned. I don't know. Go ahead. Speak. Tell me what you think.
I don't like this statement because it conflates things that are not true.
Tell me.
Listen, let me tell you the kind of guy I am. If I could have a sword every day, go fight, go scale the mountains, be outside, with the animals, I would be. Tough guy. When I come home, I want my soft wife smelling good, smelling nice, rubbing my back, rubbing my head. That's
not what she means here when it comes to nurturer. This is more akin to narcissist and someone who is like an enabler. This is not about nurturer the way you just used the term. This is about an enabler-ish type woman whose behavior is overly coddling, such that you get someone who is trying to use you to complete their task of moving to the next level, because they're incapable of it, because they have not cultivated their own masculinity. It's not the same as
mother. They're seeking a mother is what they're seeking.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this is man boyfriend. This is mother boyfriend. This is dangerous. I've seen this. But you're describing nurturing.
I get it.
Go ahead.
I think I get this, but this doesn't.
You're seeing that word nurture is no. Men desire nurturing, of course, but we're not talking about that type of nurture.
Build-A-Bears look for dominant women.
Say one more time.
Build-A-Bears look for dominant women, not docile ones. Dominant women can provide, they can lead, and they'll follow. Nurturing women won't even go for a guy who needs that. They won't even do that. It's not in their nature.
Understood.
Nurturing women want masculine men. Dominant women will do a Build-A-Bear, and he'll follow that.
I hear what you're saying. I think I know what ace means, but yes, your comment I agree with as well. Disney is trash. I want to get to guys' solutions. Y'all, the Disney dream that messed up everybody's life. Greg says Crimson Cure pointed out that men leave after a woman so-called built him up because she tried to direct his dreams instead of supporting them. Wow, that's deep. Wow, I've seen that.
That's deep.
That happened to my cousin. Oh, I can't even tell you about that investment. That was an overly which
It happened to me.
it hurt. That happened to you? Overly invested in his dream, which was your dream, which wasn't his dream. Can you share quick?
Well, and the reason why we do that, I mean, there's so many different reasons, but I think part of it is because by fixing something in them that we believe we be fixing something in us. That's for real. Because when you're focusing on their stuff, you're not focusing on your own. And many women do that because, I mean, and if it don't fit, it don't fit you. But I can say
right. It's not everybody.
Because again, sometimes you're focusing on somebody else, so you don't have to deal with your own self. And it happened to me because again, when you do that, we do these things, we think that they will ingratiate themselves to us, or they will be indebted to us because we helped to bring about this realization of the kind of man that they want. But when they come to that realization, they don't want you. They're going to go to somebody else because they got their stuff together and they can present themselves as this man. They don't want you.
Man, I'm not saving nobody. That time up for that. I'm not saving. We're not doing no projects. None at all. So much good comments, guys. I'm gonna let the panel go round robin. Last few comments here. 80% of households are led by women. We kept reading this statement. There's nothing a woman can teach a boy how to be a man. I think we've heard that several times. I think we need to look at news sources. If you are raising a boy by yourself, just making sure healthy interactions with truly positive masculinity is important, and finding that whether it's in church, as y'all saying the Scouts is co-ed, Doug says now, or there's frats. I think Black fraternities and sororities have some junior programs that help cultivate young womanhood and young manhood. This is so much going on in the comments. All right, who wants to start with final takeaways? Yeah, well, praise be to God. There's so much in the comments I want to read, but I can't. Hey, Talk with Tori coming through team replay. Like, yeah, this is my enabling, like a family enabling a crackhead in the family. I'm not laughing at crackheads. I'm just saying it's a real phenomenon. I've seen women fix up men and they be out the door. And it's a painful thing. Don't be that woman, ladies. He has to have that leadership. And it shouldn't take you overly exercising, I believe in you, let's make this happen. You gotta be very careful because it can be, taken for granted and almost misused. All right, so the topic tonight, again, has been how to stop, or if we are in aid of any way of emasculation. See, that's how I know it's time to go. Emasculation of Black men, what to do. How can we not contribute to it? I'm going to go around robin. We'll start with Miss C. Marie. What do you think if there are women who are of the mind that, okay, if I'm doing something, I'm going to try to correct that. I don't want to contribute to it consciously or subconsciously. What would you say?
I'm sorry. Can you let someone else go? I got it.
No problem. Andrew, you want to come through, or any general takeaways if that's too hard, because sometimes it's hard to come up with solutions. I get you. But any final comments? Go ahead.
Well, I'm in a workroom, not a bathroom. Don't let that fool you. You know how we make just fling up the thing in the wall and put stuff in it. You know how we do. But it's just, it's not the bathroom.
Put a bed in it.
The bathroom. But it's just but the truth is, you just have to show love, respect, and allow people to be the best masculine men they could be and the most feminine women they could be. It's a give and take. Just allow people to be who they are and don't try to dominate, but allow things to flow. and you'll find balance in that.
All right. So don't try to dominate. Walk in your masculine, walk in your feminine, and try to find people who will respond accordingly, I guess. On top of that, thank you, Andrew, for coming up. Always a pleasure. You're always welcome on my panels. I know you know that. Appreciate your support tonight, my brother. All right. Have a great night. Good to see you. Who wants to go next, please? Panel is now closed, guys. Go ahead, TJ.
I'm just keep it simple. And this is what I've learned in the past 5 years, because I am a talker. And women, a lot of times we are talkers because we, it goes back to grade school. Women, little girls are talking more than boys. So what I've learned more than anything, talk less, listen more. And that's all I got.
Well, let the church say, okay, talk less, listen more. Like she likes to say, if it ain't for you, don't take offense. But if the shoe fit, you know how to wear that thing. All right, TJ. Thank you. Appreciate your support as always. Appreciate you being up here tonight. Have a great night. You know you're welcome up anytime. Awesome. See, Marie, do you want to leave final comments? I'd like to leave Sir Hale for last.
Yes, I just want to say thank you for having me up. It was an amazing conversation. Good night, everyone.
Oh, thank you for being a part, and appreciate you being busy in the chat. I'm going to go back and read and learn. Thank you so much for participating, Marie. You're welcome up anytime. Nice to meet you, darling. Thanks so much. Have a great night. And then there was one. Again, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, show some support right now. Don't forget, before you leave tonight, hit the like button. This man has so much wonderful insight. Y'all can tell. So I hope you will consider going over to his channel and subscribing. I've enjoyed y'all. The chat clearly had a lot to say tonight, Sir Hale. So I'm sure there are multiple takeaways. So I won't limit you to just one. So what are your main takeaways for the folks tonight, Sir Hale?
Okay, excellent. First of all, got to give a shout out to Suzette Speaks for always hosting a wonderful conversation. Thank you. I want to say thank you, because I think a lot of people can look at you and see your success and you're outspoken, right? And not know your heart. And you represent the type of woman that I think men should pursue. A woman who's about something, who still has a heart and understands how that integrates into family. And I'm hoping that more people will see this and take that to heart, that you don't have to lessen yourself for a man to feel more, because a man who is who he is in his essence, that'll hurt him, that'll bruise his ego, because you are his crown. And if you diminish yourself, it speaks to his leadership. So I hope more people will watch this and learn from this. Awesome conversation. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. One last like. We almost at 100 likes, y'all. I've enjoyed Sir Hale Speaks. Thank you. That is a high compliment coming from you, sir. I really want y'all to support, and everyone who came over from his channel to come check us out tonight. Thank you so much. No, he can't shoot no shot. He ain't married. What y'all talking about? What random stuff? His wife been in the chat the whole time. So just so you know, let's clear the record.
People always starting problems, Suzette. Always starting stuff.
People, it's too late for all this. Yes, Sir Hale is married. Let's clear that. But he is. I thank you for being so transparent and revealing that. Yeah, everybody done put it that you have not always walked in the masculinity that you have now. I think that on the men's side is a wonderful testimony, so that men who are struggling, and that's what we don't want to pretend like doesn't exist, who may not have had all that pouring into through no fault of their own, who are now seeking ways to positively become the masculine men they want to be. Check out Sir Hale Speaks. How about that? Let's look for voices that are kind of, giving us a more positive take on this. Appreciate you so much, sir, being here tonight. Thank you so much for spending time.
Thanks so much.
Yes, it's been, they say just check out his wife's channel and I will let you go. Thank you so much for being here. I hope I can return the favor. Hopefully I'll see you over on your side next time. Thank you, Sir Hale. Appreciate you being here. He has been a trooper, extra long tonight. Didn't think we would go this long. Thank you for rocking with me. again, so much in the comments I wanted to get to. I hope I got all the super chats. Yes, they saying listen to Auntie TJ. Y'all listen, talk less. I appreciate it so much in the comments that I have enjoyed reading, and we'll go back and read. Yes, everybody did think Andrew was in the bathroom, but he was nice. You know how New York go. The architect says a lady side told me that she sent her ex-husband to law school, and when he graduated, he left her. I asked her, why did you do that? It's been 4 years. Answer, still don't answer. Yeah, all of that, time out for that. All of that. Thank you. The Harmony Pill said all the melanin tones. Guys, great show. Thank you so much. Yes, I hear you, Greg, especially because of foresight. Women focus a lot on what's happening today, not focusing enough on tomorrow. Very good point. There's so much to learn from each other, and that's what this space is all about. So if you were a part of, in any way, hitting the like button, did we make it? I mean, I'm not leaving till I get 100 likes. Did we get 100? Please, RM, tell me we got 100 so I can go to bed. I appreciate y'all late night streaming tonight. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this topic. I have a show Thursday with a Hollywood. No, actually, she lives in Miami now. She's an actress turned casting agency owner. So I have a casting agency owner that'll be Thursday at 7. Saturday, I'm going to be highlighting a lady who has a color run. I don't know if you guys have ever done a color run. I enjoy those when they like splash color all over you. The color run is going to be supporting a wonderful project, happens to be in Jamaica. She does support people in both Palm Beach, where she lives now, and where she's from in Jamaica. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her ministry. That will be Saturday. We have a good lineup, y'all, coming up. I'll be interviewing the week after, Talk with Tori. Can't wait to have him on and some others. So we got a busy schedule Thursday. So no show tomorrow. Thank God. Break. Thursday 7, right? So if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Go over to YouTube if you're watching on Facebook, and if you're already on YouTube, hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you'll know what's coming up. But yeah, Thursday we're going to talk a little Hollyweird, as some people call it. We're going to hopefully learn something about I would say diversity in the which I say from Miami's acting scene. I want to say how to break in, how to do what you do. For those of you guys who are interested in entertainment and media, I think it's gonna be an interesting conversation because I don't know a lot about her. I've only seen her around. So yeah, brand new agency owner here in Miami. She's gonna talk that talk. Real beautiful woman too. I can't wait to have her on Thursday. Saturday again, 12. Latisha, I forget her last name. I should know the ministry and all that, but I thought she had an interesting story. And that'll be Saturday at 12 noon. So again, if you came over to support Sir Hale Speaks, thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I hope you will hit the like button. Did we get to 100? Here's the Cash App. Y'all always ask me for it. I feel weird, but there it is. And finally, I have a Patreon. But let me see. Did we get 100 likes? Did we get 100 likes? Did we get 100 likes? I hope we get 100 likes. Yes, they trying to send me over Sir Hale wife in the comments. Y'all so messy. Yeah. Listen, you the one up there and you and ATL. I thought you and Nathan would Harmony trying to oh, listen, you try, girl. Listen, you're in his neighborhood. I don't know. Sweet. Good to see you again. Queen Regina in the chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're trying to do work over here and hopefully bring some awareness, because this all starts with self-awareness. We don't know better till we know better, right? So we're hoping to bring that to this space, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Did we get 100 likes? I gotta go. I hope we got 100 likes. Oh, Jeremy, for the final super chat. Big up yourself. Always so generous. Thank you, Jeremy. Donation to the soundboard fund. Thank you very much. Soon come, Jeremy. Soon come. I can't wait, because some of these comments, I need to be able to do a good dance hall reggae like horn. Can't wait to add some sound effects to the experience here, and I'm just grateful for all of those. Thank you, RM. Thank you, Sunbreeze. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Talk with Tori. Again, a week from Saturday, I'll have this gentleman talking about mind games. Can't wait Talk with Tori. Big up yourself. Thank you for coming through tonight. I see all my people. The architect, thank you. Ace, always busy in the chat. Thank you so much. Jeremy, again, thank you so very much. I appreciate all of you supporting. And Harmony Pill, girl, I'm gonna catch you live. I'm gonna get some live next time so I can support you. Y'all so fun. Nathan ain't for me. That's all. Listen, Nathan seems like a very nice guy. Y'all, he would be very, appreciated by, I know, many women. So big up Nathan, Officer Deli. He's probably watching, y'all. Hi. Looking for an older man. Who y'all gonna put me with? Like a grandpa, y'all? Hold on now. We ain't reached certain levels yet. Yes, I do think we would be on the dance floor partying it up. Thank you, Sunbreeze. Appreciate everybody. Yeah, she talking random stuff, so she doesn't need to rematch. She's emasculating me. So, I'm not. I don't mean it like that. You the one talking about getting married to Sir Hale shooting the shot. I just want to make sure you know he married. That's it. Y'all so funny. I have enjoyed spending time with you tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Again, catch me Thursday, Saturday, busy week. So we went yesterday with Developing Dad. If you missed that, that was a great show. Thank you. Shout out to Developing Dad. His platform is fire, y'all. Go check him out. Tonight, Sir Hale Speaks. Thursday, like I said, 7, we got a Miami local girl, moved out here from LA, casting director. And I want to pick her brain about all this Holly weirdness we've been experiencing. And then she's going to give some, background into her journey and what she's hoping to do for actors and specific actors of color as well, and bringing her knowledge to Miami to get them, a leg up, as they say in the business. So again, thank you guys so much. Smooches 104. Yay. Okay. Good night. Thank you, everybody. All of you who contributed, super chatters. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody who showed love, came, watched, hit the like button and shared. If you can, share before you go to bed. All right. Thanks for supporting. Have a great night, everybody. So great hanging out with you and enjoyed this conversation thoroughly. All right. Have a good night. Goodbye for real. I like long goodbyes. Bye, guys. I'll see you on Thursday. Take care, everybody. Thanks again. still watching? Oh, I'm still here? Jesus. I thought I pressed end this whole time. I'm looking. Y'all wasn't gonna tell me this whole time I'm here. Y'all wasn't gonna this. Oh my God, this is my life. Thank you so much for this. All right, bye for real. Y'all, we okay. Good night. Bye everybody. Because I kept looking up. I'm like, why is 32 people still watching? Oh my God. All right. Since I'm here, shout out to Life of Cash. Thank you for the cash app. And thank out to Bernard. Y'all so funny. I was wondering, I'm like, why are there 32 people still here? Y'all wasn't gonna say nothing. I'm here. Oh my God. That was so random. Anyway. I don't really talk about Nathan. Thank you. Y'all so oh my God. I know. What if I had said something crazy? Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus. Thank God. Yo. Oh. Usually I take off my dress. Oh my God. That could have been terrible. Good night, all. Oh my God. Thank you guys. Have a good night. Bye.